Bam! There we go. What's going on, people? It's your boy Flipmoney. I got one of the best friends, on Xbox Live. In real life, another PA brother, my man, good brother family, Dr. Vodka. And you know,
Yo,
um, you know, we just decided to talk about, the same subject that everybody talk about, but we like to do a little twist with it or whatever. Yo, what's going on, Six Slayer? So we like to talk a little, get a little more into it and talk about a little other thing about it. Like I see a lot of people dancing around, or I guess they still shocked at the fact Microsoft spent almost $70 billion for Activision. And before I go any further, Vok, anything you want to say?
I'm just glad to be here and be able to discuss this no, with a rational
Yeah. We may have
outlook
Lawwire
on it.
may pop in a little bit. He may or may not pop in or whatever. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying you can have a good discussion about this because some of this stuff is getting a little out of hand, a little crazy with this speculation. Because
Right. Well,
on one hand, people are talking about how Microsoft spent all this money when actually the Xbox division, I believe, spent all that money. But then on the same hand, they talk like, oh, but now since they did this, oh, we need PlayStation, we need PlayStation to make up for this, and then we need to raise up our costs for this. Like they didn't actually, that they had to go to the bank and borrow the money to buy Activision when they didn't already have it on hand. It's wild.
you know what? I'm glad you said that because isn't this the same talking point which they were saying about ZeniMax?
Correct.
Did Phil not come out and say, "Well, no, we don't need them. We don't need
Correct.
Sony money."
Correct.
So
And they paid. They got that money back 2 weeks later. The end of the quarter, about 2 weeks later, that money was back. They had the 14 billion in revenue after that.
and I believe the same situation may apply to this because I mean, even though people speculate and trying to guess what game is going to be. Oh, what's good, Iraq? Which game is going to be exclusive to Xbox? Which is going to be multi-plat? They're not going to really talk about that until probably sometime next year, whatever. But I also do believe, deep down inside of me, I believe we also had talked about this before, Vodka, that Call of Duty, I can see that actually being an exclusive. But what's the other one called? The online one? The
The Warzone.
Yeah, I can see Warzone continue on being on PlayStation, but I don't see. I don't think that it's going to be on PlayStation as long as people think. I'm thinking, perhaps maybe Microsoft is going to have them. Okay, you can get Warzone. I think it might be the same deal as it is what they did with ZeniMax. We're gonna keep our agreement. We're going to allow them to play these games, but I think it might be a certain amount of time that they allow them to play them games. Then be like, you know what? Bam, exclusive to Windows, to Xbox, to their streaming service, to wherever you can play a Xbox browser or whatever, stuff like that. I really think it's going to be it might be time. Everything might just be a time or whatever. Even as further with some of the games that's coming out on uh, um with Bethesda and stuff. I don't. I really sit there and I wonder, like, I mean, like, who really going to spend 70 billion or 7 billion for both of them companies and not want to keep those games on their platform? I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. I'm thinking maybe they might wait a couple years, then cut it off, and be like, you know what, all this that's exclusive. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel what you're saying. At first, I did think that Call of Duty might be multiplayer, and then I took what Piehead Gamer said,
Mhm.
That maybe what you said about how Warzone would become could be it because it's the free to play model and that's a way to get money because really they be able to get their money from the microtransactions and what have you as um Activision has proven to be able to do with Warzone with the success. But I also think that now the more I'm thinking about it, that maybe it could go and just be exclusive because I think it was on 108 Dragons one of his guests mentioned what I forgot is that Activision bought the MLG channel and just with
Oh,
that
okay.
that means we had the Call of Duty you'll have the Call of Duty championships. That means basically Microsoft has a streaming service again and what you can do with that exclusivity because a lot of people will come over because the pros will have to come over back to Xbox for Call of Duty for the Call of Duty championships. Then you can have that exclusive on MLG. Then you can have Halo exclusive on MLG, Gears of War League on MLG, Overwatch League on MLG. You know what I'm saying? Do your
Mhm.
QuakeCon since we can't have the live shows. QuakeCon, E3 on the MLG channel.
Wow, I didn't even. I, you know what? I this is new news to me that you're teaching me right here. I didn't even know that.
They can make that the mixing part two. And with those heavy hitters to take them off of Twitch and make it exclusively to MLG, that could make it grow
Mm.
exponentially. So then you have the exclusive rights there. Then with BlizzCon I forgot BlizzCon on MLG because people pay to watch that. Like you got to pay like $40 to be a part of watching BlizzCon. So if they could, I'm telling you, that can be a way. That'd be a lot of money right there.
I ain't even. You know what? Wow, I did. And I'm thinking like, well, how would they do Halo? Do you think that they might? I mean, well, like, you know what? Let's just put Halo on there and see how this thing play out. I
Halo
didn't. I
champions, Halo championships, like the qualifiers go on when the Xbox Day One podcast is on,
mm,
and then they have about a couple thousand people watching it at that time of night.
wow. See, man, I didn't even realize that.
And that's on
Man.
YouTube. So imagine you can just go ahead and start putting that. They probably got deals with YouTube or whatever, so it probably had to be like the next season or what. But by the time the deal goes through, that's when really everything would be going. So there's probably plenty of time for that to even happen and be a thing. I haven't heard they have
Mm.
an animation studio or some shit.
Wow. See, I didn't know that either. You know what? See, and I hear a lot of people say, well, you know what? Maybe Call of Duty may not come out, annually. Annually, it may not come out every year or whatever. I don't know if it's coming out this year or not. I don't know. If it is, we know Sony going to get it, whatever, so forth and so forth. But I'm looking at it like, you know what? Because you know as well, we was all in the party and we was talking like, well, you know what they could do? I can see Microsoft beefing up that engine. They have so many engines right now that they can utilize to make Call of Duty. I mean, don't get me wrong, Call of Duty it looked good, but do it look like next generation good? No, if they're using the same old engine. Yeah, do they?
You just gave me a thought there, Flip.
What's that? Go ahead.
Well, if they give the flight simulator and Horizon treatment, because they're
Oh
using
man.
they use the satellites for a flight simulator. They use them
Okay.
for Horizon. They're using it for
Okay.
Starfield. They're using it for fucking Hellblade. So and then because Call of Duty always uses some real location, typically real location, a little fictionalized, a little bit here and there, but they're typically supposed to be real world locations. So you can use satellite imagery. You put the team out and have that stuff replicated brick by brick.
Man,
That'd be amazing.
yeah, I don't think a lot of people just still stuck on them buying it. They're not looking at like, cause I'm sitting here looking at the like a more. Let's see, if we can look at the picture, a more bigger picture. Like so much stuff that they can do with this. Not to understand a lot of people like, well, well that's that tech talk. Well, you know what? We need to talk about that because that's part of the process of us actually playing these games and we liking what we see. Is some of the stuff is because of the tech or whatever. You don't have to get all deep technical about it. You know what I'm saying? You can, realize and understand that the next Call of Duty or I'll say next year Call of Duty or whatever, they can upgrade that tech. They can upgrade. I don't. What engine is Call of Duty using? Do they have their own engine or what? I don't know.
Yeah, they updated the engine with Modern Warfare. I
Okay.
don't know the name of it though.
Okay.
I mean, it looked nice.
Because I was sitting here looking like, wow. Well, it's so much possibilities that we can see where they may go with the game. I mean, with the games and stuff and all this. And I see some people cracking knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone jokes on it, whatever. Like, hi, now you're competing. And my thing, as I was saying before we went on, I was asking you, why do people think that by Microsoft buying company, they have that now they're competing? Because I'm gonna give you an example. I seen what's the boy, Loogie, amazing Loogie, with the dude that looked like he on steroid.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said let me check out some of these channels and stuff, and I want to see how they are trying to downplay this. And of course, they are trying to downplay it. Now, my thing is this for the ponies, they keep repeating the same thing. Now Microsoft is competing, and I want to know how is it that now they are competing when the Xbox division alone and the game that they currently have, I don't give a shit if the game is 20 years old or whatever. Why would you cut off a game that's making you money? How is that they competing now when they have billion-dollar franchises? Now, I told you that I had to tell my cousin that, like, yo, dog, they have billion-dollar franchises. They have other games. The other games that they have, unfortunately, the new game IP that came out, you have IGN to Tattoo, whatever their name is, and GameSpot, all these people downplaying the game just because they're sucking Sony dick. So I need somebody to try to help me, or you try to help me understand how is it that now they're competing when the Xbox division worth more than the whole Sony company.
I don't get. I seen a picture of a video from Doc Dark that was talking about that about PlayStation
Hmm.
people and like how they used to play their games, and he's like,
Right.
why did it first go? It went to counting money, then it went to counting boxes, then it would go to Metacritic scores, and then when it was the power, the Microsoft gets the power, so then they talk about games. But the thing is that I never, because what you're saying, I never could rationalize and get into through my head that Gears 5 came out.
Uh huh.
Oh, Microsoft doesn't have any mature games. I'm like, huh? Really? I guess Gears is just like a cartoon or whatever. I mean, it has. I mean, you can't. I don't know if you want to consider that cartoon violence. It's more like what you would call a bloody. What do they call it? Horror, the bloody porn, whatever, the torture porn with the chainsaws and shit. I mean, it's gory. There's a mature story, a vast story, a bunch of books on it, but that's not enough. That's not good story. That's not good storytelling. We just now finding out about fucking Queen Mirror. The mystery is starting to come around about that soon in the next installment. They even put a freaking multiple ending for it
Hmm.
to the point that people be wondering which ending is there going to be a canon ending? It's crazy. But no, that's not good enough. Talk Halo comes out. Halo's going to be on its 33rd booked, and it got delayed till June. Oh, that's not a good. They finally got a good story. What it got, Halo was saved once it got on PC all of a sudden. So I mean, I don't get it. Quantum Break was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Rise Son of Rome, I was mad that I played that late. That needs a freaking that heck. I would have you with a 1X enhancement on that, even though it still looks beautiful.
Right.
The, what Record was good because you had to go the little story going around there trying to figure out what the hell happened. I mean, I just there's been tons of games, and there's still tons of games coming, but it's never going to be enough. They're going to complain. Everything's going to all boil down to oh you're not as good as Last of Us 2, the game that they were giving away. I don't know, man. So really, I guess I should even try to even think. Now I got my head hurting trying to thinking about all that.
I mean, you said Gears of War. Now to touch on Gears of War real fast. Last time I checked, was that China or Japan? I'm not sure, but it was one of them games, one of them countries did not want a Gears of War to come in there because Gears of War was a little too violent, too mature. So that right there, I don't understand someone saying anything. But then again, hey, I guess I guess their windows or their walls are real close in. So I guess they don't see past the wall, or I should say, past outside of that window that they can look at because they probably got three walls in their house and that room they can't see out. But and I do remember it was a.
It might be China because they have a lot of censorship rules on there.
Okay, yeah, it might be China. Okay. Oh, you say it was Japan? Okay. Oh, what's up,
Oh, it
Mr.
was
King?
Japan. It was Japan.
Man, yeah, because I remember
Wow.
I didn't know which one it was, and it was like, no, I forgot which Gears of War it was. I don't even know what Gears of War it was. It could have been two or three. I don't even remember, but I do know they were saying that it was too violent. I'm like, what? And my thing is,
Mm.
this is what I don't understand. You know, even with it is what it is with their culture, but our game is too violent, but yet they have games that talks about that talks about touching little girls and all that shit. I'm confused.
That might be the mature aspect we're missing.
I don't know. Maybe we need to. Okay, he said it was four. Okay, maybe we need to. We need those type of games or whatever. So for the Xbox to be more so acceptable. See, and I understood what
Wait, four
it was for. I guess it was. I don't even remember which
with the
one it was.
robots? With the robots, everybody hated. What? Well, I guess
Yeah,
you did get snatched up. You did get snatched up on that one.
and I,
But
I believe
I don't
I
know.
believe that day when Other Zing, a couple of days ago, Other Zing and John Doe, I believe that is some of the things that Other Zing was trying to touch on, was trying to say how Xbox is competing. He, Other Zing, my man, but Other Zing had a long roadmap onto it. I think he should have just got straight to the point, and I would have told John Doe, well, actually, it will be a checkmate. I mean, Microsoft worth the Xbox division worth what what is it, 600 billion, and Sony is not. Now I understood both of them. Sony still is led to believe, or misled to believe that they are the better console. Just because it's more popular don't mean that it's the better console, and it's not. So I understood both of that. I just wanted to clear that up. I know a lot of people like, oh man, it's going at it, but it was all good fun. It just two guys. who have different
Ooh,
views of looking at it.
it was
You
a
know what I'm
thriller
saying?
in Manila.
Yeah, how about that?
Fuck
So,
Godzilla versus King Kong. Yeah, they're
I,
going on.
you have me coughing and stuff. God
I
damn it.
was like, my bad.
Mm, 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 mm. So let me see. What else? What else is it that we can tackle? Should have wrote
Well,
something
the same thing
down here.
about like I got into a discussion about earlier when this news broke, and I was in the party with the Piehead Gamer.
Go ahead.
Somebody was like, okay, now that this happened, Microsoft's overall goal is going to get be putting Game Pass on
I'm
PlayStation,
sorry. Uh huh.
and I'm just trying to explain like why would you do that? They don't the engagement is low. It's low over there. They're like, oh, but there's so many people. Why are you gonna get that money? I'm like, Phil already said that he's trying to get to 2 billion mobile users. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not. But there's no way you're gonna get all 2 billion of them. We just got Candy Crush. And
Right.
what was that dude in Spain that spent $50,000 on Candy Crush?
Right.
And
Well,
it's like
ladies and
this.
gentlemen, we got
Hey,
live wire. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I'm
Go ahead.
just like I was saying because I'm like they even took the browser off of there to make sure you wouldn't be able to get on XCloud. But why would they do it? And the idea hit me yesterday. This damn convention got me thinking slow. I'm like, okay, if it's always about money, why the hell can't you buy a Pepsi at McDonald's?
Mm.
Why can't you buy a Coke in Kentucky Fried Chicken if it's
Mm-hmm.
about the money? Those brands are worldwide, mega corporations. Why can't you buy those products if it's all about the money? Why aren't they going to compete? Why aren't they and they're competing against each other, but why don't they still sell the same product to try to get their money since it's all there?
Right.
Yeah, but Livewire, you go. Let,
Yeah,
let
I
you
Go ahead.
crept
handle
in the
this.
back door.
I haven't heard anything you had to say about this.
About any of this situation. We just have a random conversation about what just happened or whatever. So the ponies are now Xbox ambassador. Microsoft needs this. You
Oh my
you know
god.
some of the things that which we have already done talked about live. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Your opinion.
you're gonna have people flip flop. You're gonna have you know people out here crying about with monopolies and stuff like that. So I mean that all that's expected. I
Hmm.
could, you can see that coming a mile away. It was shocking when the news dropped because I don't think anybody expected it. Just because I mean, yeah, we do. Obviously, Call of Duty was Activision was having their issues, but at the
Hmm.
end of the day, we still didn't think Microsoft would necessarily acquire a company that big. Not that they couldn't. Just most people were just you weren't looking at that size. We figured, oh no, something smaller. Build it up. But I get why. It makes sense. Uh, they have a couple of things already in the pipeline. I mean, you always got Call of Duty coming out. And then and I'm just talking about the console side. You always got the Call of Duty, you got the Oblivion coming out. That's also PC, same as Call of Duty. But then after that, then you got the Candy Crush stuff. And that's where Microsoft really doesn't have a big foothold, which is mobile. I mean, they got Minecraft, obviously, because that's on cell phones. But
Hmm.
now you
Hmm.
got, Candy Crush, you got Hearthstone, you got, forget what is the other, something Castle. I don't know. It's some other big game
Was that
King
Clash of
does.
Kings?
Yeah, Clash of Kings. You know what I mean? So you got
Yeah.
three, now you have four big IPs in the mobile market, not even including Call of Duty, which is also pretty
Oh,
solid in
forgot about the.
the mobile market. So you got that. Uh, what they'll probably do is, I don't know if Warzone is on mobile, but they'll probably bring that to mobile if it's not. Um, and they're gonna make a ton of money off of that because whatchamacallit makes a ton of money. Fortnite makes a ton of money on mobile because a lot of the kids that before they get their console, they're
They,
playing Fortnite on the phone,
do
the
they own
same as
Fortnite?
Minecraft, huh?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay. All right. All right.
No, no, no.
I'm just
Fortnite is Epic. No,
okay.
no, no.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
because
Go ahead. I'm
Rogue
sorry.
used to play that Call of Duty on mobile all the time.
Yeah, I mean, and people know it's like some people don't know it's you're getting a slower experience, and those that do know they just don't care. They just want to play it anyway. Just like the
Right.
same thing when sometimes I be playing Halo Infinite on multiplayer on XCloud.
PC.
Obviously, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
as good, but
Okay.
I mean, I still want to play it. So instead of having a KD from like I don't know what was my KD yesterday, like a 3.3, it'll be like a 1.7 or shoot, it might be a minus 1.7. I was in a squad yesterday. I was sitting there with a 3.3. I was like, man, why do we keep on getting smoked by these dudes? And I looked at my the rest of my team's KD. I was like, minus 1.7, minus 1.7, zero. What the? It's like, yo, they got me here with these bums, yo. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's all like I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of crossover stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Candy Crush in Game Pass.
I was joking there.
And it'd be interesting to see how they do that. You know what I mean? Like, do they just do they make it a perk? Like, all right, link your phone account, blah blah blah, Candy Crush, and so instead of paying, blah blah blah, how much money you get, a certain amount of credits in Candy Crush each month to
Livewire.
play it to a certain level, huh?
What game was that they had that was in on Xbox? It was a game that was on Xbox that they had, and it reminded us of Candy. I can see them actually making a up to date version Candy Crush, like this
Uh,
game that
I
was
know what you're
on it
talking
that
about.
we
It
was
was
playing it.
it was like columns or something like that. It
Right,
wasn't.
right. It was like bang, 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 bang. But I can see them actually making a game like that on the console. I can see that. When you just said that, I said, "Wait a minute, did we just play
Because
something like that already?"
yeah, I
But
forget what it
now
was
that you
called.
say
It's
that,
something
I,
like
I
it's also
right.
Candy Pieces, but it obviously it plays different. And
Think
Candy
about
Crush
that
is
little
just more.
jewel.
It's a little bit easier to get into, and you know, but yeah, I mean, they're gonna have a lot of opportunities to do certain things, so I wouldn't be surprised. You just never know with Microsoft. You know what I mean? Shoot, they might do a deal with Netflix, make a Candy Crush cartoon
Mhm.
or something. I don't know,
Yeah,
movie.
I can see that. I can see. I can see a lot of these games and stuff that Microsoft had purchased or whatever. I see not just okay. Let's just say Halo movie make a big hit. Bam, Halo. The little series and stuff make a big hit or whatever. I can see them actually doing that with other games. I can see them actually making a Call of Duty movie. I can see that shit. Like, wow,
Yeah,
as successful as
yeah. I mean,
Call of Duty
that's
is
not
now.
hard to. Yeah, that's not hard at all. They just pick one of the storylines they like the most, and then they can straight up make a movie off of it. They ain't gotta, get like do something like the Extraction or something and Call of Duty it or something like that. So they can go to Netflix, they can go to you know, uh Warner Brothers, whatever. They can go to any studio they want and be like, all right, this is our idea. You know, what do y'all want? But the thing is, um, what anything that Microsoft does, they like full autonomy. So like that's why they always have the issues with Halo because they fight with the movie studios. The movie studios be like, all right, cool, you want to do Halo? All right, this is our idea of what Halo should be. Microsoft be like, no, that's not Halo. You'd be like, well, you got to give us the freedom to, yeah, yeah, but you're changing it. That's not Halo. Like the fans will hate it. So, and that's why it took them so long to get to the point that they are. So, because you think about all the movies that do come out, they're almost like independently made because Microsoft gets full reign of saying, all right, what you can and cannot do for that film. Even though I don't know why they haven't just paid Blur to do a movie on Halo. I mean,
Just do
granted,
a CG one. Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's mad expensive. Well, it was like $1 million per cutscene, but I mean, you know,
There ain't no $1 billion cost of one of a Pixar movie or whatever. Because I know the
yeah,
like the Final Fantasy Kingsglaive. You see how good that one is.
yeah. Well, I
Right.
There's
think
no way
well,
Square paid paid enough money from the cutscene cost to make that. Even though they did have freaking real world licenses and that, but still.
I also have to say this real quick to interrupt y'all brothers. Anyway, y'all gonna say I'm a big kid. Nah, 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 nah. We got game. But go ahead, y'all. But go ahead, live. I had to do that. I had to
Oh,
do that,
I thought he
man.
showing off those wonderful rig headsets he wear.
Hey, don't look at that. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. You don't see no head. These are not the rig headset that I am wearing.
Those,
Yeah, they is. You know they are.
yeah, just like mine.
Mm-hmm. I'll buy another one. But live. Another thing I wanted you to since you did
hmm
it, the tackle on real quick. And I see a lot of people, YouTube. I don't think they understand exactly how it works with Microsoft kicking out that money. I don't know if is that the money that's coming from the Xbox division that they're spending, or is that
no,
the money from Microsoft? So I would need
no, it's
you to
Microsoft.
elaborate and break that down for how is that they why and how is that they able to buy uh not just because they're $1 trillion company, but you know how they
No,
they have to
it's
spend that
Microsoft.
money.
It's Microsoft. It's just Microsoft. They fund everything. Similar to Sony. Like when they buy Insomniac, PlayStation's not buying Insomniac. It's Sony buying Insomniac. What I mean, it's the same thing. Microsoft. They don't. They don't. With Xbox, they don't. I don't think they buy anything. Even if they could, they don't. Because I think the way they want to keep it is they want to keep it under Microsoft's umbrella. So if they wanted to separate anything, it'd just be an easier process to do. It's easier to buy it under Microsoft and then send it, to Activision versus buying it under Xbox. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Which is under Microsoft. Might as well
Right.
just put it under Microsoft versus having to go that second tier. You know?
Okay. Because I know a lot of people thinking like, well, I'm like, well, they have to spend that money. You can't just keep the money and just have the money stored away like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know how they have to do it with the taxes and all this other stuff. So when you have that amount of money and it's that yearly time for you to do taxes or whatever, you want to show where that money is going at or whatever. Because I know a lot of people thinking like, well, they got all that money, they keeping it. Nah, dog, they got to spend some of that. You got to spend money to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I mean, but the other thing is like people always forget like they look at it like, well, PlayStation should buy this and PlayStation should buy that. But you got to realize it's like I, buying a company is almost similar to like think of it like buying a Ferrari, right? Like if
Okay.
you buy a Ferrari for 250, $1,000, but you only making $300,000, you bugging. That's not
Right.
you just spent most of the money that you made that year. So the whole idea of Sony buying Activision for $70 billion when they're only worth like 140 something $billion, it doesn't make any
120,
sense. And
120 something
or,
million
or
now.
whatever it is, right? But you also got to remember, after they buy it, they still got to keep it running. Like, like no different than a car. You bought it, great. Still got to buy gas. Still gotta hit it up with advertisement. Now, don't get me wrong, Activision is pretty self sufficient. It can run a lot of this stuff itself. But remember, you're buying Activision to fix a lot of the issues that they have too. And some of the studios, if you don't have extra money to expand the way you want to, the process of you getting that turnaround is going to be a little bit slower. Like think about this. Like if Microsoft decides, okay, I want to, have what I have, but I want to um only have 3 teams working on Call of Duty. So instead of it annual, we'll have biannual games. So meaning every Call of Duty will come out, and then the following year they'll have their expansion, and then the year after that it's the new Call of Duty coming out.
Shout
Right?
out to 100.
Instead of the
My
same
bad.
call it instead of a new one coming out every year. Still have Warzone. Warzone will still be a staple. They'll upgrade it on all consoles. They'll let it go everywhere. They're not gonna, and that's how you keep the PlayStation fans hooked. So they still have something. It's free to play. It's a taste. But then oh man, I'm really enjoying this Warzone. Some people only play that, and then others will be like, you know what? I haven't played a mainline Call of Duty in a while. Might go pick up an Xbox, or I might get it on PC, or I might, you know, play it on XCloud or whatever means that they have. Um, so it makes sense. I mean, it's no different than Elder Scroll. Yes, they do expansions for Elder Scroll, but when the new one comes out, all those people that are like, man, Elder Scroll, blah blah blah. If they're real Elder Scroll fans, they be like, damn, I gotta play that shit.
Yes, I don't know. My daughter already having a fit if they talk about if there's not a Call of Duty next year. Because she's already mad about that war. She couldn't play the campaign for this year because it's World War II. We ain't on that.
Well, that's what the thing is. They gotta, well, all they gotta do for this is kind of build it out similar to, I would say, what Activision has done for some of their games. Thinking that with like the last couple, like the what was it, the Phoenix Rising?
Right.
Phoenix Rising was a good
The
one. They had
Ubisoft?
two. They had, yeah, Ubisoft. They had the two expansions for that were really good. I didn't play the first one. I played the second one with it was like in Japan or so, or China or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
I ain't played either.
Chinese gods or something like that.
Hmm.
So I mean that would be cool. Or what they have with now with Valhalla, you know, like do something like that where you expand what it is. Um, you do a full on campaign for that too. Doesn't have to be long. Still Call of Duty 5, what, 4 hours, 5 hours, but it's an
Hmm.
expansion, right? And then you just add to the multiplayer that's currently there. You don't do a whole new one. You refine it and then add to it. That's it.
Well, Warzone does have a storyline that goes on from season to season.
No, I'm sure that does too. I'm just
Cause
saying
that's what they
like,
do to change them, and they change them. They've been changing the map or whatever, because it would like be a little Easter egg that people would find, and then you come to find out that was like they found there was a bomb in a bunker. That everybody would
yeah,
try to figure their way to get in there, and then all of a sudden the bomb went off and changed the map.
yeah. But I'm saying you keep Warzone. You have your dedicated teams for that. People that you bring in. You have maybe a mainline team, and then you rotate some of the helping studios, and uh, and then that's what you do with them. You know what I mean? Like you don't gotta have a Call of Duty every year. You
Well,
really don't.
they rotate their teams every year to do it. Like Treyarch would do it one
Well,
year,
yeah, the
and
main lines,
Sledgehammer
yeah,
did it one year, the Infinity War do it the other year. Well, like you were saying about with Sony by purchasing a big company like that. Because see, I for one said that thought that they might get Blizzard. Because I was like, Michael Barr's there, Ron Ferguson's there, and some stuff's going. Maybe they'll sell off Blizzard.
like,
That's
but
what I was thinking.
look at the purchases Sony has made. I don't even know if they spent $1 billion yet on any of them.
Yeah, because I was saying because well, I was going to because like how the Bethesda deal was. That Microsoft kept everything going. They kept everybody. There were no
Yeah,
layoffs. Well, with Activision, there had to be
You
some cuts from there, but they paid their packages.
you think that's
Dude
gonna
got
happen?
paid.
You
It
you, you think
happened.
you think they gonna? I mean, let me see if I
But
understand you correctly. Okay? I do. So do you think that's gonna happen when everything is finalized and everything is done? That Microsoft going to trim off some of the fat or something, or do you think right now is in a process of some people is already getting out the damn door?
well, see,
rumor
this is
had
what
it
I
that there was some people that got let go Saturday.
not
Well,
not what
over this weekend before the weekend.
I think Microsoft is having conversations with the studios now about what they want to do and asking them, do you want to continue annual releases of Call of Duty, or would you prefer biannual or triannual releases of Call of Duty? You know, would it make your jobs easier? Would it give you more time to put out a product that you have more confidence in versus like, I mean, because think about it, if Call of Duty comes out every year, that's why you always, because this is the other thing is like a lot of people, you know, talk about the whole PlayStation thing having majority of the Call of Duty players, which is around was like 45% of the market comes from PlayStation, which is around 12 million a year just on PlayStation. But the thing to remember is not everybody who buys PlayStation for Call of Duty, just for Call of Duty, buys Call of Duty every year. Some people buy the Call of Duty and they skip a year. So you might not, it might not be really 12 million people that bought PlayStation for Call of Duty. It might be like 30 because not everybody plays it every single year.
You
You said,
also got to
hold
remember
on.
the pros brought a lot of people over to PlayStation since PlayStation the tournaments and everything go through PlayStation. Now they're gonna come back to Xbox because a lot of the people hated when they first went
Okay,
over to PlayStation. They hated because the controllers.
Well, yeah,
okay,
but you
okay.
know,
Now I
controllers
was
got
about to
better,
ask
so
you
it's
that.
not
Okay.
terrible anymore. It's not as bad as
Yeah,
it once was.
and I mean because when they was with Xbox, they never were late on the DLC. We ain't never get a delay.
Vodka,
Just
tell my
saying.
wife what you had told me earlier about the tournament and stuff that they have. Um,
Oh, about the MLG because Activision owns
yeah.
MLG. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
with them with having MLG, they could because people talking about how Game Pass need to go to PlayStation, to make up for get this money or what have you. But I was like, with MLG, they could have the COD championships, have QuakeCon, BlizzCon, have the Halo Championship, Halo League, the Overwatch League, the Gears of War League, and make that a MLG exclusive. Because the people pay like for BlizzCon and stuff like the people pay for that. The people pay for that online because Overwatch will give you'll get a special skin for a character and a bunch of other stuff that you pay like the $40 to watch BlizzCon. The over and then for the Overwatch part of it.
Hmm.
So I'm like,
Mm,
with that MLG, I mean, it's basically they could do their E3 on there instead of going through Twitch. But
right.
you could simultaneously do a simulcast or instead of having it on Twitch, and we had all those problems the one time because you can barely get in or what have you. You can have it spread out for YouTube and MLG. Because I forgot, I was looking at my book. I'm like, damn, I got an MLG login. I forgot all about that shit. Because we still I'm like we still got the MLG app on Xbox, don't we?
Maybe. I haven't looked.
Yeah, so I'm like, shoot, that could be Mixer Part Two.
I
But
was thinking that
now
too.
you got the big, but then you got the big tournament scene what have going on, gone there to help with it.
That's what I was wondering. That I'm glad you mentioned that because you're saying as big as that you're right. That could replace. No, mama, she coming in here. What's good? You can replace a lot of things that Mixer couldn't do, or I'm sorry, improve on a lot of things that Mixer could not do, or whatever. Hold on, fellas, y'all continue on. Let me get this little girl.
Now
She
what
in here
what
want
are
to.
they gonna do with BattleNet?
Uh, that'd be interesting. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna eliminate it. They might keep it and bring Xbox games over there and try to transfer it because like
They'll
one of
try
the
to just
biggest issues
absorb it.
because one of the biggest issues Microsoft has is with the Xbox store. You know what I mean? Like downloading games for Game Pass and blah blah blah. They have a lot of issues with like they just don't always work the way they're supposed to.
Even with the Windows 11.
Mm-mm. Nah, they even with that, yeah, they still have some issues. Like um, you got like yesterday, I was trying to not yesterday, but like a couple of days ago, I was trying to download Gears of War via Game Pass, and it was just taking forever. Like it was just ridiculous, bro. I
Mm.
tried, and it'll download, and then I get into the game. It's like you want to download further content while you're in the game. I'm like, what the? I already downloaded all this, and I kept on trying to do it, and it would give me just the base game download. It wouldn't give me all the textures and all that stuff. I would have to wait for that to download, and it would just take forever to do it. Which is why a lot of people um, that run into those issues just do it, play those games on Steam instead because you don't run into the same type of stuff on Steam. That's what Microsoft has one of its biggest issues. So if they could fix, if they can have Battle.net help alleviate a lot of those issues, then you know that'll help.
Mm.
Uh, and they got to get a lot of their games working with DLS. I mean DLSS. You know what I mean? And Fidelity, what's the other one? Fidelity Super Resolution or whatever from AMD. Because like I was saying on Saturday, PlayStation, not all their games, but Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War have that functionality. I got Days Gone 2, which doesn't have any of that stuff, but actually it doesn't. I'm trying to remember. I think it has DLSS. It just doesn't have whatchamacallit. It doesn't have a aspect ratio for 2190, which I'm becoming a fan of that aspect ratio because you can just see so much more of the screen, especially for games like God of War, where the cameras they don't have a field of view toggle, so like
Mm.
you always tend to get attacked from your back because you can't see because it's so close. The camera's so damn close. So like you could like change the aspect the ratio. It's a lot easier, especially when combat gets a little bit more crowded. I mean, you never really fight more than five people, but still.
Right. Yeah, because Halo, they implemented that with Halo, I
Yeah, they
believe.
have. Yeah. Well, see, the thing but the only difference on Halo for the PC, they don't have aspect ratio
Oh.
um for it. It just it auto does it. So you can like if you have ultra wide monitor, then it auto sets it for ultra wide. But say I don't, I have a regular monitor. But if you have the aspect ratio on it, it basically puts it in a letterbox.
Oh.
Yeah, so it basically feels like you're playing a movie type thing, you know what I mean? And for PlayStation games, that's what they are. They're mostly a movie type game. So
I don't care for that letterbox thing. I don't know.
I mean,
I
For
mean,
movies.
it depends. Like when you're like for me, when you're playing on a monitor and that close to it, it doesn't really matter. Like at first, I was like, nah, I want the whole screen. And I did for a while, but then when I put that letterbox, I was like, it's almost like going from 60 from 1800p 60 versus 4K 30. You'd be like, nah, but that 4K 30 so crispy. But then you
So
play that 60 frames after a while, you just be like, I can't not play in 60, man. I can't.
so it's not just the cutscenes that's letterbox. It be the game that's letterbox.
Yeah, the game's letterbox.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah,
I like
it's
letterbox
not.
movies, but I don't know about games. That'd be
Yeah,
like having a split screen.
nah, but I'm telling you, I think I put a video up showing what it looks like. Uh,
Okay.
but I mean,
I think
obviously,
you did. I
it's
think
not
you did.
as smooth as it is on my computer because it doesn't. I don't have an actual capture card. I'm doing it through the game? What's that thing called? Game something?
The DVR.
No, the on PC. What's it
Oh,
called? Game something.
Oh, the what's it? The game bar?
Game bar, that's what it is. So when I capture through that, I still capture 60, but it's not a smooth 60. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that did that.
Yeah, and it also like see when you have a capture card, it doesn't eat up all your memory. Like when you do it through a game bar, it eats your memory, so it slows. Like you see an effect in the game that you're playing versus like a capture card. It just play, it has its own power source and it does its own thing, so it's not eating up, uh, your memory while you're playing the game.
Hmm.
Mm. You know what? I was thinking about something, man. I think I said this the other day to Vodka or whoever was in the party. And I'm thinking to myself, now
Okay.
that Sony is going to push out these PlayStation 4 regular, how is that going to work with games that are only going to be next gen? Like, okay, let's say Microsoft said, okay, Sony, we're gonna let you have the next whatever what is that? Call of Duty or whatever the game that comes out or whatever. Say they let them have it. In which we already know the shortage from Sony is not looking very good because it's, I told Vodka before, Vodka noticed, you know, it's going to fall over into next year. It's already been reported that yo, this is why we having a PlayStation 4 because of the shortage. It's going to continue on to next year. Unfortunately, for them PlayStation do, I don't know what witchcraft or wizardry that Microsoft is able to push out some more console. It may not be, you know, like 4 or 5 million in one year, but it's still going to be pushing out throughout the year or whatever. It may not be a bunch of them, but they're still going to be trying to push them out. As Phil already had said a few days ago, that they have some more consoles that's coming out, X and S or whatever. How are they going to do it? And Microsoft say, okay, we'll let you play the game. We'll continue on letting you hold um continue on giving you Call of Duty. Now say Microsoft upgrade Call of Duty again. Bang, bang, bang. How would that work? Knowing that they still playing on a PlayStation 4. So that means that they would have to take their time to also make a game, a downgrade version of it for last gen?
Nah, they're really not gonna worry about it.
Yeah,
I
Or
mean,
because
they just gonna say, fuck you. That's your problem.
nah, I don't think PlayStation's really worried about uh all these PS4s coming out. I think it's just in order to ensure that people that want to play God of War, Gran Turismo, Horizon Zero Dawn still have access to a PS4 to play that by the year's end. That's all they care about.
Okay, okay, right. Understand that. Understand that. But dig this. What about the other company that already had came out specifically said they're not gonna mess with next last gen?
Oh, they ain't worried about that. They just
So, so
they yeah, they're not worried about them at all because it's not that many. It's a couple, but it's not that many. So, and you're only talking about for a year. So yeah, they might be losing out on PS4 owners that can't buy certain games for
but
that
but
year.
but that's a whole year that, let's say, Microsoft have right now this opportunity with the S and X right now to whip Sony in the ass while they still on last gen. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if I had a PlayStation, if I was a PlayStation guy and I say, listen here, I want to play this game, but if you continue on supporting last gen, then the PlayStation 5, I'm sorry, it's lacking.
I believe though that Sony is going to follow Microsoft's lead and try to stream some of those games.
They don't got no choice. They have no choice but to do that. If they were
Oh,
smart
I,
enough,
I don't
I
know if
think
there'll be PlayStation 5.
well,
Will it be?
mm,
Are they going to do
no.
PlayStation
Well, I
5
mean,
streaming like Microsoft was going to do the series streaming?
well, the thing, well, that you talking about third party, they have to get the rights to do that, though. That's the thing.
you say they would have to have the rights to do that. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like Game
because
Pass and then.
because every game that's on Xbox can't be um played on XCloud. It has to be in Game Pass to be
Oh, okay,
played on
okay. So
XCloud.
you're saying so far as in the third party. Okay.
Yeah, third party. Yeah, yeah, first party it doesn't matter. They don't. As far as we know, there's nothing coming out recent. Well, maybe is it Forspoken? I don't know. Is Forspoken only next gen? I don't know if it is.
Hmm.
I th- I don't know. I don't know.
Before they did say they was going to wait 4 years to get rid of the PS4.
And
I
I would
don't.
like to say this since you brought that up. I would like to rub this in Stu P knows that I told you Sony said 4 years. This generation is going to last about 10 years. He's talking about, well, maybe six. No. Listen to what I say. I'm telling you, there is no mid-gen refresh when you're getting a PlayStation 4. Microsoft already have two boxes, the S and the X. Two affordable boxes, and that's powered in the PlayStation 5. I'm sorry. He see what he doing? He keep comparing these chips to PC chips. I don't know why Stupies is doing that. Why you're comparing the chip that we're getting for the PlayStation and the Xbox with PC? You can't do that. PC is always going to be on an evolutional jump. They're going to continue on doing that. I don't know why he does that, but listen to me. I'm telling y'all, this thing is going to last for at least about 10 years. No mid-gen refresh. Sony don't have the money. Well, we shit. This COVID running around out here in the street, smacking everybody in the face. Man, no
Yeah,
way.
because Fireball's got some point talking about they might have to do their deal with the Azure to try to get their streaming going. With that alleged Spartacus. Whenever we get the details on that,
Oh
so that they can
wow,
use the
yeah.
Azure servers to try to help them if it so that they could try to stream next gen on their new streaming service
I
or
didn't think
gaming
of that one.
service.
I did not think of that one right there. You're
Because
right.
I thought that's what the deal was going to be for, streaming for Azure was going to be for streaming.
It probably is. I think what it is with a lot of things, Vox. I think what it is with Sony. I just think that I think it just they fell back on it a little. Maybe
Thanks, Fireballs.
something. Oh shit. Yeah, good looking. And please, more questions in the comments. Listen, I really do think something in Sony had hit them real hard for them to slow down on that. I don't think. Know what? Let me rephrase that. I don't think that was a day one thing that was going to come out from the gate like with Microsoft. Microsoft had had years and time to do this. I think this is something that was going to happen in the next coming years or whatever. Why they went with that with Microsoft? I mean I understand. You know, people think it's maybe well it's just for the security purpose or whatever, or they got to build that stuff up. I trust me, I believe Microsoft is giving them enough they're helping them out enough for them to get the ball rolling, for them to do their streaming service, which I believe they're going to go. They're going to do this some years down the line. I think they are going to use Azure service. I really do because I
I
can't
always thought that
see.
was for PlayStation Now
I,
because
I
once XCloud got announced, I thought because PlayStation and Nintendo wouldn't have been able to compete with the streaming infrastructure of Microsoft. That's why they were going to go with Azure to help with that.
mm, okay, yeah, I can see that also. I agree. What do you think, La?
I mean, for their own stuff, yeah. But as far as third party,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. We'll wait and see because we don't really know what Microsoft's going to do for third party specifically yet. Because it's not like they fully implemented xCloud to everything. It's only um usable via Game Pass currently.
Right,
So
right,
when,
right.
once every game has access to xCloud, then it'll be interesting to see how it is moving forward.
Did you say third party?
Yeah,
What?
because we already know Xbox's stuff is going to be on xCloud.
Right, right. And you know what? I figured, listen here, when I found out Sony had signed up for that, the first thing pop in my head would be, okay, well, then now a lot of gaming, a lot of companies don't have excuses to make. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, we do need parity when it comes down to being online. We do need that. Because there should be no way I'm hopping on GTA and I'm getting all this and this cutting up the frame rate issue. It's taking so long to load up or whatever. If Sony is using that and let's say the next GTA come out, hopefully, well, by then I think the PlayStation 5 may have some or whatever. Because they say they're not making nothing for last gen. But I'm just saying like they should be using Microsoft. Microsoft said it before. Use our service and let us worry about that. Sony using their
Fireballs.
thing.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sony using their thing now. Using all Microsoft as your whatever. Why not? There's no problem. You don't have to make it for 2 or 3 different consoles if everybody is using as your. Go ahead, on Baka. What you about to
Oh,
say?
fireballs. You won't get on because you keep throwing out these facts.
Hey man, listen. You want to get on, bro? Let me know. Let me know. I'll send you a link. I don't care.
Yeah,
Why would he say?
because
I
he's
need to.
talking about they keep but the Japanese money sense doesn't equate to American money sense, and it's if they can keep up with all of their country and their region, and that's a win for them, regardless of how inefficient and senseless it is.
Wow.
But okay, you
Mm.
said you shoot him a link. I'll
Shoot him a
shoot him
link.
a link. Yeah,
Oh, you all
I
right?
can
Bet.
send it to him.
All right. Shit. Hey, come on, shit. Tell me your input.
Alright.
Shit, that's what I should have said. I called it the input day, input podcast. You tell me your input. Hey, man, listen here.
I
Nobody can
see,
be wrong.
Johnny Five.
No one can be wrong up in here, man. We all just having our own thoughts and stuff like that. I like to hear different people ideas and their thoughts or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
you know.
he do a little damn work.
Yeah, but back to this PlayStation or them not having all these consoles and stuff, and it's being hard for them to manufacture them because of COVID. One of the main reasons, and I'm sitting here wondering, like, well, Microsoft has an opportunity to have a foothold for it that, excuse me, far as than the well these current console generation. Because I always say, as me and other Zink would say, I don't believe that Sony have as many consoles as they say they have. I don't. Now, Rocky, you say what they might got a 500,000 or a million more than Microsoft.
Possibly.
Well, let's see how this is going to play out within the next few months.
Yeah.
The next few months, let's see how this play out. Because right now we already said Sony expecting uh 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 they're expecting maybe 14 million. And I can see Sony getting 14 million and Microsoft is surpassing them. I don't see what are they saying? Sony got what? 18 million and all that. I'm like, yo, where's y'all getting these imaginary numbers from? Y'all saying something Sony didn't even say. I see podcasts where they're saying that, well, yeah, Microsoft going to buy this and this, and Microsoft I want to go back and touch this and hear Livewire opinion on this. That Microsoft is buying all these companies so they compete. And I asked Bach, and I would ask you this too, Live. Last time we checked, the the Xbox division worth 600 billion, more than the whole goddamn the whole damn fucking Sony corporation. So tell me, how is it that they need to buy these companies to compete, and they're doing
Uh,
better than Sony? I don't. I need somebody to tell me that.
I mean, Xbox's value is more than Sony. They're not. They don't make the same revenue as Sony because Sony has more. They have more hardware out there, and
Okay.
even though Xbox has PC, they still don't. You know, the again, if the Windows Store was better, I would think you would see more people jump on the Game Pass, especially on PC. But again, that's where they have to fix some of the issues. Like Game Pass works fine on console,
Right.
but on PC, it's a different experience. And if you're only a PC player, and it's
Well,
like,
they say they have more consoles than the Xbox. I still don't believe them.
no, I'm talking about as far as PS4.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't believe that either. Fuck it. Shit. How the hell? I don't believe that
No, they
shit either.
definitely get they definitely got more because the the revenue is high. I mean, so uh no, I mean, it is what it is.
Man,
They get
they inflated numbers, man. They took a balloon
well, no,
and
because
blew up
because the thing is, you
a
gotta
number and said this is what we got.
no, but what the thing is they make a lot of money off of games that aren't theirs. A lot of money. Like they make it. Like think about it. When the launch of the PS4, I think one of the number one games was like Valhalla, and it was higher than Spider Man. Like what the hell? But they always talking about exclusives. But Valhalla beat it. You know what I mean? Like third party is huge for PlayStation because even even the people that are PlayStation, I wouldn't even they're just PlayStation fans. Like they bought it,
Fanatics.
but they don't even necessarily
Hmm.
play the exclusives. They just play PlayStation. You got guys that only play Madden and they play it on a PlayStation, or only play COD and play it on a PlayStation. They don't even look at God of War. They look at it and say, "Oh, that looks nice." And we're like, "You gonna get it?" I don't know. It's not really my thing. You know what I mean? And then they'll just play COD and Madden. That's it, or 2K. That's all they play. You know what I mean? Like that's a very large demographic. Especially because you got people that play COD and play Madden but don't play 2K, or play 2K and Madden but don't play COD, or or other combinations. You know what I mean? And every once in a while they might buy another game here and there, but oh, let me get Mortal Kombat and then play it for like 2 hours and then be like, well, that was cool, and then they go back to playing Madden and Call of Duty. You know what I mean? I mean that's kind of how it goes. So even though the exclusive sales don't show the amount of consoles they sold, because again they they don't make multiplayer games, and they don't make multiplayer in those, and the games that they do have that are multiplayer aren't widely popular as far as that. You know what I mean? Like I know Ghost of Tsushima has like a multiplayer-ish type element. It's kind of like
Hold on, y'all.
Beat My
Hold on,
Score type thing.
Ball. Go ahead. You next. After live. Go ahead. Go. Hold on. This little girl.
No, okay, yeah, but no, I was just saying, like, you know, it's a casual box. It is what it is. The difference between them being the leader this gen versus Microsoft being the leader for during the 360 is Microsoft had the multiplayer scene on lock, not only with the third party, but with their own IPs. PlayStation is only the king in single player. Multiplayer, they're like non existent. They have nothing. So that's the real big difference. So now that they're losing Call of Duty, it's going to hurt them more than it would if Microsoft lost Call of Duty because they already have, you know, Halo. They already have Gears, so they had something to fall back on. Not that Sony can't go back to some of their older IPs that they had. They just gotta, they gotta start doing from cold turkey. Like they haven't touched those in a while, other than Killzone. But Killzone's been bad for a long time, and with the success of Horizon Zero Dawn, that studio is looking at Killzone like, why should we go back to this? Like nobody liked it, other than a handful of hardcore ponies that would say crazy things like this is better than Halo and Call of Duty. And I mean, like, but you know.
So, what you think, Power Boss? Glad you made it. Because you real
I think
lighten up the chat and said, well, you're not going to come in here before you get carpal tunnel.
thanks for having me once again, fellas. How y'all
Word.
doing this? How y'all doing this fine afternoon?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty
Hoping it stops
good.
snowing.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
we
yeah.
ain't getting
Did
no,
it start? Nah, it
we ain't getting
stopped.
none of that here, man.
It snowed for half a second and it's gone.
For sure.
Yeah,
Mel,
we ain't getting that here. Not in South Cac.
He said,
fucking
he
Jeep,
said,
the Jeep stuck. I
he
ain't,
said, he
them Jeep
said,
is
this is the
stuck.
Bible.
Oh man.
This is the Bible Belt. We rebuke you, Satan.
What happened, man? What happened? Did I do some crazy stuff that happened, yo? Uh,
Man, man, this climate change got everything so damn jacked up. Like you got to a point where people actually absolutely forgot that we used to have alligators in this damn state, and now
oh
all of a sudden
wow.
they're like, wait a minute, there's alligators in Lake Murray. What? What? It's like, yeah, so you might not want to be skinny dipping, around certain points.
Mm.
Oh,
Like, but y'all do you. I don't swim anyway, so.
oh no.
Hmm.
Come on. I hope you're getting in that stereotype black people can't swim. Come on now.
But it's true. But, like,
Said it's too late. The stereotype was already there.
He
like,
said,
Oh
you
man,
know
but
that's
what they
crazy.
do.
but I kind of it depends though, because I mean, if it's like my little brother and stuff like that, and his swim team where he was still swimming competitively and everything like that. Nah, man, you'd be like black folk can swim, but you have to go through that training. Like, but I guess that's with anything.
Excuse me. Lowry
So,
know
but
that. Shit. Lowry was a
Yeah.
The
swimmer.
amphibian.
What? Yeah, amphibian. Lowry like what? 7 foot. I ain't know swimming was that damn tall. I'm like, damn, no, what? I ain't know he was that damn tall and shit. I never noticed
You
that.
know what?
You say he was the center on the swim team?
Man, listen here, Paul. You can point him out like I don't know what. Man.
Guess he win a couple strokes and the audio on the other end.
Hmm.
that's actually how it is, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that's actually how it works out. But no, but back on track and stuff like that. Um, I guess to kind of like I guess touch on what I was saying in the chat and everything is that um the ink for the ink on the contract for using Azure has like dried like almost like damn maybe like almost like three or close to 4 years ago. All right,
Hmm.
so Sony had that much time to go ahead and start making some sort of use of it. I think if anything, they probably might have been using it for their store. I guess, but I don't believe they've been using it for any streaming. And then we got to also look at the fact that um what was it like somewhere around early last year that the news comes down that now here it is, Microsoft and to some extent even Nintendo trying to like push back on the tidal wave that's Tencent. Here's Sony signing deals with them to go half in. Now see, here's Microsoft making full out acquisitions and stuff,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
here's Sony like you and the boys at the like up at Applebee's going half in on some pork chops and a blooming onion.
Oh snap!
But I thought Destin was saying that the deal hasn't gone through yet. He said that a couple months ago.
What deal didn't go through with what? With
With the
Tencent?
Zern.
With dessert?
But see, the thing is, if you look it up, man, that's a long time for a deal to not go through. And the only thing I can think is like if that's the case, and I mean, I guess maybe that could explain why we haven't heard much more on it. Is maybe some reason Sony backed away from the table. But that goes back on what I was saying in the chat, where I was like, they went half in with Tencent to use a Japanese-based streaming firm. What was her name? Ubiquitous or Ubitus or something like that. It started with a U. And so that's when I was kind of like, well, when I said to myself, man, here we go again, because everybody wants to always keep trying to like avert their eyes at the fact of what I keep saying about the Japanese, and it's just that's just their culture. All right, I mean, I'm not trying to make an excuse for them, but that's just their culture. They're all about 100% all hands on deck about their own.
Right,
Before
because they got that at the World War II. They adopted the U.S. Buy American policy. They just they ran with it. But the thing is, I'm wondering, are they using that since they came to the U.S.? Are they using that as a way to still get money from the Japanese diet, to be able to get them to still get the subsidies by keeping entrenched with another Japanese company?
I don't think they can get any more from the Japanese government. I think the Japanese government just got tired of them, and just more or less just told them, all right, y'all done. We can't do anything else with y'all, because we got to also remember that they still got a huge debt that's sitting over their heads. So when people are talking about like, so everybody talking about, everybody talking about like, come on, Sony, do something. Look at Microsoft, grab Konami. Yeah, do that. Yeah, get Capcom. Yeah, they can't get any of them. It don't matter what's in their pocket. They can't do it, because they can't justify to their board, to their investors, that, hey, we want to make this big purchase of these guys here to lock this stuff down, and we can, promise you seeing a profit back in 5 years. Wait, what do you say? I don't know. It sounded like you said 5 years.
Wow, 5 years?
It sounded like you said 7 years. Because it's like, dude, investors aren't your friend, man. They're not your buddy. They don't give a damn about your scope or your vision. I mean, it's only angel investors that are like that, and those are like rare to come across. But regular investors, nah, man. It's I'm sure Live could probably tell you himself, man. It's like, it ain't a thing about like, oh, you made me back double. Nah, that's still a failure. You're supposed to make back triple or more, player.
Right, because I remember when the PlayStation 5 launched, I read an article about some Japanese economics studies that were going on, saying that there was actually, they were worried about the hit that it might take over 5 years for them Sony to recover. And that was before they did their buyback thing.
Yep, and also yeah, and there's also another thing to bring in, which could also be an effect to it, is, what was it, like probably like maybe like close to 7, or maybe 7 or 8 years. It was a while back, because as we get older, time goes faster and faster, but it doesn't seem like it was too long ago, but it actually was. Remember when they brought up on the news that a lot of the money that Japan had wasn't even real money?
What?
Yeah, they were like, they had like fake, they had monopoly money, and that hurt them bad. This is like, dude, this is like way before the whole COVID thing. This is like damn, I want to say probably like maybe a bit after the whole SARS outbreak, if y'all remember that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
it
remember
was
that.
something like they was yeah. Remember they were talking about PlayStation was fudging the books. Well, not just PlayStation, but Sony was fudging the
Like,
books, talking about
uh,
they made more than they did
well, they were
because
fudging and
they were trying
chocolate
to
chipping, whipped
because
creaming.
because because they were trying to inflate their market value. You know what I mean? So if they're showing that, oh, we're increasing, then you get more people that, invest into PlayStation
They're trying,
stock or
What,
so
what,
they're trying
Sony
to put it,
stock, I should say.
they're trying to put a
what was
cherry
it?
on top.
What was it? 2000 and mid 2000, no, summertime of 2014, I believe,
It
when
was
they
like
were saying that.
it was like early PlayStation time, like PS4 time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
I think that was like 2004 because they were saying Sony. They're like, yo, Sony got 3 years to turn that around, or whoop, there we go. I'm like, wow, because I was reading. I was like, is this true? They're like, yeah, Sony got 3 years to turn this around, and they just came out with the PlayStation 4. It was like a year after that, and it was like, yo, the clock is ticking. People like, yeah, but Sony sold such and such, whatever. They're like, it doesn't matter. The third year it came out. It was like the third year since the console came out, 2015. They still was talking about that. Their financial joint was still they were still losing money. I don't know what point in time. I mean,
Yeah,
if they're still not in bad shape, who bailed them out?
they they were hurting, man. Because I mean, you got to think about it. Number one, because when everybody thinks Sony, everybody thinks PlayStation, but their number one business was electronics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you got your electronics division failing, and even your movie division is not looking too hot and stuff like that, and those sit above the PlayStation
You, you, you,
brand,
you know what? I'm glad you.
and those aren't doing hot. I
You know what?
mean,
I'm glad you said that because
PlayStation's
it's
making
longer.
most of their money.
You know what? It's longer than that Sony been losing money even before the PlayStation because you can go back as far as before Michael Jackson died because they had old Michael Jackson some money. I was like, what? They're like Michael. I didn't know that Michael Jackson was getting a cut off of every goddamn artist that's in the Sony music business. I did not know that. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they owe Michael Jackson money. So somehow, you know, people fail to realize how smart Michael Jackson is. He had that thing hooked up with like, yo, y'all owe me money. And he wanted to pay Michael Jackson, so they was like, yo, well, we got to do something. I didn't know he was getting paid after, getting paid money from every artist that was on their record label. I didn't even know that. I'm like, wow. They're like, yeah. They're like, yo, they owe him a lot. I think it was like eight, almost a billion, maybe if not more than that. It was something like that around there. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. They owe Mike money, and and they was falling then. They was going down then. It just wasn't as we would see as it now. It wasn't broadcast out like that, like we know as it now though. I'm like, wow, that's crazy, man. Like, oh, they're trusting that PlayStation 5.
yeah.
Yeah, because I
So
always wondered about how would they actually come back. Back when the One X came out. The ponies are like, oh, wait till the PlayStation 5, wait till PlayStation 5. It's coming out 2018. I'm like, how are they gonna rationalize with their investors to go ahead and put all that money in the R&D to have that out already? That's why
Yeah,
there's no
Why?
way.
How they gonna do it, La?
The PlayStation 4, that's what PlayStation 4
Well, they
basically
didn't.
built on the PlayStation 5 built on the 4.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey, remember they already tried to go crazy, and with that cell processor, so they wasn't trying to make that mistake again. So they tried to stay in the same wheelhouse, like you know they, the PS5 kind of Call of Duty 5 their, you know what I mean,
Who made the cell
what the
processor?
PS4 was, huh?
Who made that? IBM?
I don't know. I don't remember.
yeah,
No, I don't remember who made that.
no,
IBM,
it was IBM.
they're motherfuckers. They're
It was
motherfuckers.
that
And
power.
Go ahead.
That power PC bull, man. That's what it was. Anybody in the console space
Hold
or
on,
in
y'all.
like any sort of proprietary devices.
Yeah, 'cause you gotta remember they were talking
Oh,
about
oh,
the PS3 was more powerful than anything that was inside of a space shuttle and all that stuff.
So
mhm.
that it constantly be on, even when you turn it off, and be helping Cornell do calculations. But then they complain about the DRM. But they're talking about, yeah, you turn you when you think you get when you got it turned off. Because I remember that in the game before, when it's turned off, it's actually still online. It's helping do calculations at Cornell.
Uh,
But yeah, but yeah, like I said, I mean, they learn their lessons, not to, I guess, get too over the top with the proprietary stuff and everything. But it's here. I mean, here's the thing though, man. When they had AMD cooking up the chips for both them and the Xbox and everything like that, the new Xbox, somehow or another they found out what it was that the series systems was all about. The Scarlet and everything like they found out, and they found out just how close it was to completion, that they went ahead and they just straight up panicked. And before AMD could finish the damn chip and put all the full RDNA features in that they could, they yanked the damn chip. They yanked it and said, "Nah, nah, we got it from here, fellas. We'll work on it from here." Well, we're still missing this and this. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have like the quote unquote power saving benefits of RDNA 2, but you're not going to have the full thing. Like, yeah, you'll still
Mm.
be able to do ray tracing, but that's good enough. Thank you very much, fellas. But you're still going to be missing this and this. So yeah, man,
I thought they would need
it,
You like
more
it was
to do
built to
that ray
combat the
tracing.
X, the 1X.
Yeah, but I thought they would need more to do run ray tracing.
no, I mean the thing is they have the built-in hardware for the ray tracing. All right. The things that they don't have built-in hardware for is machine learning.
I
Um,
thought theirs
eh,
was software-based ray tracing. No.
it is,
it probably is right now,
it
but
is.
from what I
But if
from what
you
yeah, I
yeah, if
mean,
you look
because
at what they have, like all their software, all their games that have ray tracing is based on all their own software. Um, it's not so much as far as like third party, because third parties really not doing it like that. Like we got a few here and there for both Xbox and like what Call of Duty did it. Ubisoft did some, but then after that, everybody kind of fell back because at the end of the day, I don't think the tech that needs to be with it in order to run smoothly isn't there. So it's like, why run? Nobody's trying to play, a game at 30 frames per second with ray tracing on. You're just not. Nobody gives a shit. I don't
well, the
care.
thing is also is that a lot of the games that have been coming out and stuff like that, they've been cross-gen anyhow, so they're using old, outdated code.
Well, yeah,
So
that's the
yeah,
other big thing.
so yeah, so then yeah, they're not going to pull out that much of you know of a difference with the lighting and everything like that, with using like yesteryear's id tech and stuff like that. They're gonna have to revise everything, just like what's going on with Starfield with Creation Engine 2. Whereas I can't wait to see how that's going to look and
Oh, that's the
everything,
name of the
because
engine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's yeah,
yeah.
they had to get off of Creation Engine, because Creation Engine 1 was just that that Joker was on life support.
Isn't that the same engine they using with Fallout and Creation Engine 1?
Yeah.
Fallout and what's the other one? Skyrim.
Yep.
Hmm.
Fallout. Um, let's see. Fallout 3 and 4, Skyrim.
You want to get on, Val?
Oblivion, and what else? I think it was just those. I think it was just those because
Mr. Kima said, excuse me, I'm sorry, but Mr. Kima said it was Toshiba that they licensed the tech to IBM
What
for
the
the
hell, Bone? At?
the cell
I'm,
process.
I'm gonna send you a
I'm
link,
sorry,
Bone.
Fire
No,
Boy.
it's cool.
oh
It is.
oh no
Oh,
okay.
my bad. I'm sorry. Here, Bone, I send you a link so we can bring the wild card on here.
Oh
Bone can
hell
say
no,
some
him and
crazy shit.
Fireboss together, it's gonna get wild.
Okay, no, go ahead, do your thing, man. Do your thing. I mean, we had our peaceful coexistent talk.
Yeah, we got the
I
cool.
mean, you a
Yeah,
lie.
yeah.
Wow, yeah. I just sent you a link, Bone. Oh, you at the office? Oh,
Right.
okay.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, my whole thing. Yeah, my
Yeah, you
whole
can't,
thing
man.
is
Don't set that man up like that. Here he is at the office and trying to supposed to be getting work done and stuff, and his coworkers looking over at him cussing up a storm.
yeah,
He
saying
had to
you
be on
best
his
to be
best
on your
behavior.
best behavior.
Yes, sir.
Don't go on
And
here act a fool.
I can see
and then
Bone
out of
again with that Brooks Brother tie on.
Nah, I thought he was selling bean pies down
Right?
on the corner.
What's going on, boy? This boy at the job.
out of nowhere, open up the damn desk drawer and pulling out a bottle of Cavassier or something like that.
Oh
Be like,
hell
hold
no!
on a second, how
Oh
you
hell
be
no!
like how you get that in here?
Yeah,
When
oh
when
hell no!
when
No,
when
we'll need that. It's a, hey, Bone, I'm
Nah,
gonna need you to
Bone work with lawyers, so they stay drinking.
yeah. I'm gonna
No,
need
that
Bone
shot
to
that's at
glass
take
least some
come
this.
from?
things they do.
I want Bone to take this and put it on his channel too, as well as Livewire.
Yeah,
You
because
know what I mean?
I'll tell you
Yeah,
this: freaking
but y'all can
lawyers,
continue on.
drug of choice is definitely coke.
You gotta get through the
Oh
day any
man,
way you
I mean,
can.
hey man, listen. Especially the type of job he at. I know he got to get a little sip in. You know what I'm saying? When he go to the bathroom or to the water, what's that? The
Water
water
cooler.
fountain. Yeah, the water cooler like my crib, and just take a little sip.
Like just a little sip.
Man, you know how? Hey, listen here. You know, Bone take a little one too many sip, and he'll be walking like he need a BH at the office.
Oh
Man.
man.
Like
Yeah, but you know what? Even though I wasn't, I was still listening, little baby. But listen, I do. Was, other thing kept asking me that day, that night. What is it that Sony can do? And I've been thinking about this for the longest. I see people talking about, well, they can buy Nintendo, they can buy Square
Nah,
Enix, and after this
Right.
information, which you had suppliers, which we already know this, it's not that's not going to happen right now. I mean, I don't know. Y'all can get your own opinion on it. To me, I think Sony just at a standstill. The only thing that I heard was that Sony said, well, Microsoft is going to not Micro Activision is going to have to, honor their agreement with some of the games. But that doesn't mean for how long. That don't mean for how long. They can honor and give you these games for a year or a year or two and just cut you the fuck off. I'm like, oh well, we honor the agreement. You know, every
Yeah.
year or whatever, a different agreement, different type of
Just like how
contract.
Matt Booty said, as soon as they acquired Obsidian and what have you, it was like Outer Worlds was coming out multi-plat, but then Outer Worlds 2 is exclusive.
Or matter of fact, here y'all go. Y'all get you on this, or do y'all just think that all that shit is just PR talk for Microsoft with the honor their
No,
agreement?
no, you know
it's
Microsoft good at honoring their agreements because that's why they still got Minecraft and what have you.
yeah. I mean, it's the thing is like it's like I just told a few other people and stuff on Twitter. I said you need to take what went down with Bethesda as the model of what for walking forward. All right,
Mhm.
that's what you're looking at. So as I joked around and said, hashtag better get an Xbox. I said I meant what I said and I stand by it. Whereas like the same as when when Spider-Man completely got snatched away, which, to me, it's like, it's kind of odd that happening when the only thing Sony had was just rights to the movie and cartoon licensing and stuff like that. It's like, how in the world did they just lock down the game licensing and stuff? But it happened. So guess what? Better get a PlayStation. All right, well, all right, cool. If you don't get a PlayStation, then you just don't play it and stuff. And now we got this mess with Square with Final Fantasy, where it's like, yeah, we think we're just gonna put all our eggs in a basket, how we used to do, and
Is
just
that
go all
true
PlayStation.
though? Because I thought that
What?
was just a rumor.
It's a
For what?
rumor, but when we talking about Square,
Oh,
let's keep it a buck. We talking about Square, all right?
But they do something.
Square.
Square tends to do something,
Uh,
do something for Sony, and then they seem to try to make it up with
let's
Xbox. Because the Kena thing came out with the 2 years, so then they gave us Avengers on Game Pass and
yeah.
Outriders.
See, the thing is this: if you look at it like this, aside from Dragon Quest, what number is that at now? 11
Man,
now,
I
I
was
think is
just
that.
playing it.
Yeah. Aside from that, which was already 4 years old and everything like that, which was still groundbreaking, and
That
then
was a
Octopath
re-release. They gave
Traveler.
us the re-release when the re-release came to Sony with the 2D format. They gave it to us in Game Pass that launch day.
Yeah, and then Octopath Traveler, which was like already like been on Switch for like 3 years and stuff.
Hey,
So it's like it's groundbreaking that they went that far, and then to go a step further, saying that we're really loving these numbers that we're seeing with Game Pass, and hey, Game Pass is the truth. That's where you was like, oh man, we finally broke the ice. We made it, y'all. We made it. But then there's a trend I noticed, whereas they're quick to ante up anything that is old and anything that is aimed more at what Western audiences and stuff than anything that is more Japanese oriented. Whereas they'll keep that on PlayStation and on the Switch. That's the trend I've noticed, and that's why I was saying it in like some other podcasts I was in, where I was like, don't be surprised if they go back to their old routine. And then all of a sudden, here's this rumor.
but
And
what
the
about
thing
when
is,
they be seeing the success of Bandai Namco?
you would think, but see, this is it's like I said, man. Their common sense doesn't equal our common sense. I'm not saying whose common sense is better. Is just that's just the difference of being hundreds of miles apart from one culture to another and stuff like that.
right.
And another thing also is that it's old. What I'm about to say is old, and it probably doesn't make sense. So you're welcome to argue it. But I, honest to God, still feel that the old heads who still run from behind the scenes, still run Square, they are still holding that onto that gratitude for Sony for bailing them out. Because remember what happened. What was it, like I think like 98 or 99. All right, who remembers The Spirits Within?
I
Yeah,
do.
yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, I try my best not to remember it.
I just thought of it like it wasn't no Final Fantasy movie. It was like an aliens. It was like an aliens ripoff.
Well, that's what a lot of people felt. A lot of people felt that if they didn't use the name Final Fantasy, the movie probably would have did all right. But because they used the term Final Fantasy and it had nothing related to any sort of magic or swords or Magitech or chocobos, or there wasn't even a single damn Moogle in there, that everybody got bent out of shape. And that's when you had people actually, because I actually remember going to the theater to go watch it. All right. So I'm guilty of that. But I also remember people getting up in mass, walking out and going straight to that doggone ticket counter and demanding their money back.
Mhm.
I remember that. And, I saw that firsthand. And so that movie alone, because the movie itself was, I think it was like one of the most expensive movies for back at that time. And I had no idea how badly it crippled Square. It crippled them to the point of where they were about to go bankrupt. They were about to fold. And Sony came in and loaned them enough to keep themselves afloat. And that's where the merger with Enix came in, where both them and Enix just joined together. So even though Square's name is at the front, it was actually a mutual merger between the two, because both of them at the time were hurting, and so they just pretty much just Voltroned up. It didn't matter who formed the head; it's just that we had to survive. And I think that because of that, because Sony came in to save the day, that Sony's going to always have that golden ticket.
Mm.
Mm.
That's a
And
good point. I ain't think of
and
that.
then there's the other factor, whereas when they do try to take a stab at the Xbox market and stuff like that, the numbers don't perform the way they want them to, because they always compare the numbers to what it is on PlayStation, and they always ignore other factors. Whereas you have to remember, your brand has always been over here, so people are always expecting your next thing over here. When you put it over there and you don't say anything about it, you don't advertise it, you don't make any conscientious effort whatsoever to say, oh, hey, by the way, it's over here on Xbox too. Nobody's going to think about that. So then you start getting getting the dumbasses coming up with like, oh man, you Xbox don't play any role JRPGs. Oh, you don't play no Japanese game. And the thing that we don't is that we don't know about it.
Well, the thing is, they got their marketing rights and how Sony does the marketing. Because I mean, like I always say, when Nier was their exclusive, they only cracked 1 million. And then when it came to Xbox and then later the Game Pass, it was at almost 4 million. That's how come we got this replicant. Because
And also
Yokotaro wanted to re-release replicant, and it was always turned down.
Yeah, and also another factor for back then that I need to go ahead and put this out too, because this sparked like a huge argument between me and a few other people and stuff. Is another factor for back then is that a lot of Japanese games, especially JRPGs, especially those, were not performing very well for no matter what platform it was for back then, because they hit I want to say they hit this wall where it's like gaming culture was transitioning to being games that seemed to look more realistic, that more gritty grayish brown graphics and stuff, and people were more about like the Ninja Gaiden style of play, where it was just hack and slash, fast pace, and everything. The gaming landscape was changing, and so you had like a lot of new up and coming gamers, who weren't old heads like us, who don't mind, a little bit of a back and forth grind, and leveling up and taking my time to plan out my strategy with a turn base. I don't know about y'all, but me, it's like I love that. I don't mind that. That's that. I like being able to strategize.
It's like old school D&D.
Yeah,
Basically,
but
Dungeons and Dragons, the pencil and paper, and dice.
yeah, but see, here it is. Around we're talking about like early 2000s, we were starting to have a lot of like more younger heads coming in, where I joke about it, and I don't mean harm with it, but I joke about it and I call it the ADHD culture, where you started getting in these people, whereas they don't have the patience, they don't have the time, they are not interested in grinding for EXP. They just want to slash and keep going. They're not all about like planning out what my loadout needs to be, what my armor needs to be. They didn't care about that stuff. I mean, heck, dude, it's like even on X-Play, every time they reviewed, think about it, every time they reviewed a JRPG, what was the first reaction you always saw on Morgan Webb's face? and she'll roll her eyes every time. And the only time she really didn't do that is when it came to like the Paper Mario series, because Homegirl was all about Nintendo. So we were looking at a cultural change where people weren't into those types of games. So that's why they weren't performing that well to begin with, unless it was like something with Final Fantasy. But even with Final Fantasy, even Square was realizing like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to change the formula a bit. And that's when we started getting stuff, like with Lightning and everything like that. And they were trying to do something different, because at least with Final Fantasy 12, which tried to blend in a little bit more action elements, it performed pretty damn good. I mean, hell, dude, I love 12. I was even saying to myself, like, yeah, man, y'all need to do some more of this going forward. This is something more, more groundbreaking. And it still allowed you, if depending on if you like left it on the wait mode or the action mode and stuff, it gave you time to strategize. It's just that you had the ability to move your characters around and position them. So it was just yeah. So it was just a shift in thinking, and that's why personally, why I feel like JRPGs and a lot of Japanese titles didn't fare that well on the Xbox, because to me it felt like it was a two-factor thing. Whereas one, you may have put it on there, but you didn't really say anything about it. You didn't advertise it that much compared to like advertising it on the other platform. Right?
Microsoft had JRP games themselves.
Yeah, they had their own. They had their own, and you notice their
Blue
own.
Dragon. What was the other one? Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey, and what else? I think they had about 3. Maybe?
Infinite. What was it?
Enchanted Arms. Enchanted Arms, and one of my favorites, Infinite Undiscovery, which shockingly was developed by Square. Before the merger with I think it was before the merger with Enix, but yeah, it was developed by Square. And Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, that's real funny, because we were just talking about the Spirits Within. Do you know who the executive producer was for Spirits Within?
No, I don't remember.
I think it was Live.
I'm trying to. Everybody got to blame Live.
Yeah, I got to.
Like, who's responsible for this shit? Who did this? Like, but no, it was how you pronounce his first name? Hinoboru, I think that's it. Sakaguchi. In other words, the godfather of JRPGs himself, the creator of Final Fantasy.
But
he put his name.
Those was real good games, though. I mean, granted, Blue Dragon was like, wow, man, it looked real kiddish, like, but it was a good game, though.
That was like Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I don't really care for JRPG games like that no more. I don't even care about them. But goddamn it, I was playing them games. I'm like, yo, this one is alright. I didn't understand what happened.
Yeah. So, well, basically, this is what happened. He was the executive producer of Spirits Within. All right. Now, remember how I said that there's a vast difference between American culture and Japanese culture. With Japanese culture, it's not a thing of the whole team, the whole group shoulders the burden. No, one person has to take it all and fall upon the sword. And that's what happened. That's why it's like when people were like, man, where's Sakaguchi at? How come we ain't seen him no more? No, it's because he took the fall. And the thing about it is over there with their industry is that if you take the fall, you now forever have a black flag flying over your head.
You get the window off, brother.
No, you don't get no office.
Oh
You don't get no
wow,
offers at
damn, it get
all.
that bad? Wow,
Basement.
Yes,
that's messed up.
that's why he
Cut
wound it
loose.
up. That's why people were so shocked when they saw his name pop up, because everybody's like, Miss Walker, what's Miss Walker? What the hell is that? Sakaguchi? Doesn't he work for Square? It's like, no. Square kicked him to the curb once he shouldered the blame for Spirits Within failing and almost tanking the whole company.
Well, they would that because that would have meant the company would have tanked twice in 1 decade. Because remember
It's
Final Fantasy, because that was going to be their last game if it wasn't a success.
and so, but that's the way they are. I mean, it's all about optics to them, and there is no such thing as a redemption arc. It doesn't work that way. And this dude was still, in his prime and stuff, and now he's like, where am I going to go now? Where, I want to make more games, and I have this idea, because he's been sitting on the idea for Lost Odyssey for a very long while, and Lost Odyssey was going to be a Square game, and
He should use a
he was
different
like,
name.
yeah,
Should
he
he?
just wanted to keep making games, and here it is. You got Peter Moore and Balmer. They're trying to break ground over there, and they're not having any luck getting JRPGs on the OG Xbox and stuff. And they're getting ready to launch a new Xbox. So that's where the talk started. Where they was like, well, we'll fund you and help you get a new team formed. And in the process, they didn't just form Miss Walker for him. They formed up at least two other teams, Japanese-based teams. Oh shoot, why my brain ain't working, y'all? And my brain's not working because I looked it up for someone else. But the one team in question is under the development group called Marvelous over in Japan.
Okay.
And yeah, Artoon, that's the other one. Artoon was one, because Artoon is the one responsible for doing the development of Blue Dragon, even though it's see, here's the thing. Miss Walker that Sakaguchi was on, they were more on the creative side. All right. They were more about getting the concepts, the designs, the storylines, the just basically the whole idea and conceptual side of it. All right. That's where Miss Walker was. The actual programming and coding and stuff was usually outsourced to other groups. And Artoon was one of them. For Blue Dragon, that was Artoon. The one that I'm having a hard time trying to remember the name of, the other group is the one that was responsible for Lost Odyssey. But Artoon and that other group that I'm thinking about, they were absorbed by they were called I believe Interactive AQ, and they changed their name to Marvelous. So they're not just doing games; they also do like anime and comics and stuff, manga. And yeah, so Miss Walker wasn't by themselves. So they had so Microsoft had their own Japanese developers, but
You got one now.
Yep.
yeah, they don't got them now because
Or they got
let
the one they got Machine Games.
well, not
No,
Machine. You think of Tango?
Tango.
Yeah.
Tango.
They got Tango, and then they'll have what was it? Activision Shanghai in China.
Activision got a
Damn, I didn't
Japanese
know about that
company.
one.
Yeah, that's the first I heard.
Activision Shanghai. That's in China. That's a support studio.
Oh yeah, because they had the Call of Duty Online first. Because China had their own Call of Duty Online.
Hold on.
Yeah,
So you're
the
telling me
last
that
thing I saw them do was Crash. They did some support for Crash
so
Bandicoot.
so 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 you're telling me that they have two Japanese companies right now.
No,
Well,
Well,
that's
Chinese.
we're talking about
Chinese.
Two
Shanghai.
Chinese
That's
companies.
China.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, two Chinese
Well,
companies right
you
now.
might say two Asian. Two Asian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do
They do a
y'all
lot
think?
of
Wait a
work
minute. So
in
wait a
Korea.
minute. So
They do
wait
a
a
lot of
minute. So
work in
wait.
Korea.
Hold on. So wait a minute. So
Yeah,
y'all don't think
I
that
mean
this is
that's
y'all don't think this is a coincidence, or do y'all think? Well, it ain't no coincidence. Microsoft, they must have really sat there and looked at these companies real deeply to see how it was going to play out. So
Well, they have a purpose for all of it.
right. Because I'm sitting here thinking like, well, damn, I didn't know they had two Chinese companies. I didn't know that. So that's telling me like, well, listen here, we in like Flint, so they have two company of their own that can make their own. I see if they want to make JRPG games or whatever type of game it
Yeah,
is. Say if they want to make a game similar to Black Desert and they call it Blue Desert, whatever. They have their own. Yo, you know what? Damn, talk
Well, they
about
got the
it,
guy.
it's
They got
diabolical.
one of the people that created Resident
well,
Evil.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. They do got her. What's his name?
I forget.
I
Um,
forget his name.
Shinji. Well, the thing, see, that's the thing though.
That's
That's
the
why.
evil within guy.
Yeah, see that's the thing. That's why a lot of times y'all might have came across my comments and be like, man, why is Fireballs always going on and on and on about Japanese developers getting Japanese developers? That's the reason why. Because see, here's the thing. That team, Tango Gameworks, which is Shinji Mikami and stuff. See, Shinji Mikami's game has always been action thrillers and survival horror. All right, because he's the godfather of Resident Evil. Okay, so they're good. Microsoft is good for as far as it goes for anything Japanese horror related. All right. And if the dude decided he wanted to do something in the same vein as Dino Crisis, because remember that's also his baby too, because Dino Crisis belongs to Capcom, so he can't do Dino Crisis exactly, but he can do something that's in that same vein that's exclusive to Microsoft, but it's still within the horror area. All right. JRPGs are not his specialty unless somebody on his team is capable of it. That's the only exception there. So that's why I always keep saying that they don't rest on your heels with okay, we got this guy, we're good. No, you're not. You need to get at least two more
Well,
teams
that's why
to
Sarah
specialize.
Bond got said at the Tokyo Game Show. They got partnerships with 200 independent Japanese developers.
Yeah, and see, and
Did they say
that's
Japanese or
why.
Asian? I think it said Asian developer.
They're Japanese.
She's
Well, yeah,
Japanese.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Japanese. And see, the thing is, out of those people that they're trying to work with, I hope they're keeping eyes open because all right, here's the thing, and here's why I'm always so on the edge about it. Okay, they've had, especially with the Japanese, they have had a lot of developers and teams that were supposed to come to bat for them, and at the last minute bailed. You would think that, oh man, these are contracts; they can't do that. The laws are different everywhere, and you kind of have to think of it this way, where it's like, if what I said didn't hold any truth, then why is it that these guys are out here smiling and pumping stuff out on the other platforms like it's nothing? Because they had to be allowed to walk, or they had to just leave, just basically bail and leave whatever it is they was working on. Like for example with Scalebound and stuff like that, because they messed that up. So yeah, it was good that they took Scalebound from them, but at the same time, it's like, okay, now we're with a dead IP that we can't do anything with because we don't have the manpower to deal with it right now. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but that's why I kind of say that to be safe is just like the whole rental thing. Nothing beats having your own. It's like, yeah, you
Right,
can go out and you can rent a
right.
car, and as long as you keep gas in it, as long as you don't do big, get too reckless and be around too many dumbasses who about the rear engine and stuff like that, you know, it's one of those deals where it's like the cost is going to start adding up eventually, and there's only but so much you can do because it's not your car. You can't go putting LEDs in the wheel wells and stuff like that, and getting the whole upholstery redone in the coffin material. You can't do that. It's not your car. No matter what you.
Hold on, Live Wire or Doctor Fox take over real quick. Hold on, I'm gonna swing back around to that scalebound thing. Hold on, I'll be right back, y'all.
Oh, okay. But
I forgot one thing that you were talking about. That you were talking about Livewire about the PlayStation people going coping with COD, with if there's a vacuum with COD. I'm like, when they go to Destiny, back to Destiny, because I know even though Destiny they don't have their exclusivity that they had with Destiny, that used to be their issue. Because every time I used to complain about Destiny in the forum, they'd always say that Xbox has Halo. So I'm wondering will they flock back to Destiny? I don't even know if they really left Destiny. Well, yeah, they have because a lot of them went from to PC once it went to PC. I think that's the way. What do you think, Fire Ross?
Oh shoot, man, I was reading something else, but
uh,
you talking about Bungie?
yeah, just talking about what because we were talking earlier about with Call if Call of Duty did leave, like if
Oh,
they decided just to keep Warzone on there and there wasn't any multiplayer, the regular multiplayer and the regular and campaign on PlayStation. I was wondering would they flock to around Destiny? Because before Destiny, I know a lot of them consider Destiny as their shooter since they had the exclusivity. But I know
uh,
a lot of the content creators went over to PC once it hit PC.
mm, all right. Well, here's the way I look at it. I guess this also, I guess if y'all haven't discussed this already, or y'all getting ready to, this I guess can also like go into my view about what's like with the whole exclusivity thing. All right. Um, Here's the thing. Compared to PlayStation and stuff like that, as we already know, who's the more open platform. All right. So to me, it's like okay, you don't want to get an Xbox. All right, cool. I hear you. Fine. I got you. I'm the same way. I don't. Unless I'm buying it for my little brother. I dare not put my hand or my money towards another Nintendo device. Unless it's for my old man because he's the only PlayStation gamer in his house. You know, I would never touch another PlayStation and stuff like that. All right. So, but the thing is that if that's how they feel, then there's nothing you can do about it. That's just how they feel. That's how a person is with their wallet. They're allowed that much. They work for that money. That's them. But if it's driving them so up the wall to a point and everything that they feel this gusto to have to like get on social media and just go blaring out and go into like spaces that don't even cater to what it is they're into. In other words, ponies coming into like say like like a string a podcast like this, just like just to sit there talking about LOL Xbox
You
sucks
got
and
your
blah blah
toys in
blah
the
and
room.
stuff like that.
Like
It's
normal.
it's yeah. If that's how you feel, then you might as well go ahead and just get an Xbox. But here's the thing: you don't have to worry about that. Just you gotta if you're going on social media, you evidently have some form of a device that gets online, be it your smartphone, your tablet, or a computer. You don't want an Xbox? Okay, cool. Just get Game Pass. Just get Game Pass. Get the apps, and play your game of choice that way, and be done with it. So they had.
Um,
So the thing is, so they had. There's no. To me, it's like there's no excuse. You have this way because you're gonna. It's like with what happened with ZeniMax and Bethesda. You're gonna have to wake up and accept the reality that your game of choice is not coming to your box of choice anymore. That's over. So those who are all about like, man, how am I going to get my Call of Duty fix? It's like you already brag and boast about having a decent PC, and every once in a while talk about, oh man, PC better than the Xbox version anyway. Okay, get it on your PC because you ain't because at least with PC you really only have to have Game Pass, especially if you all about. Well,
right.
I don't mess with rental pass anyway. Okay, cool. Then buy it off of Steam or buy it off the Windows Store. You got choices, man. That's why I tell a lot of them clowns. It's like, come on, man, spare God the heartache, man. You got choices.
Because I think they hate Game Pass. They're starting to hate Game Pass more than they hate Xbox.
and a lot of that hate, there's dude, it's misplaced. It's misplaced because as I like I'm sure everybody knows old Chrissy Hart and everything like that. It's like I told him one day when y'all was in one of y'all sessions with 100 and stuff, is that it's like man, don't bring that to us. It's like even if it's just trolling and joking, don't bring that to us because we can't control what Jimmy Dancing Man Ryan does. We can't control him, but you and your groupies as fans, y'all can at least voice your opinions. All right, you always come over to us talking about the man better. Why don't y'all kind of like partake in that same wisdom for yourselves? Go to them. Go tell them like, look, we don't want this. We don't like this. And don't just be like, saying that and still buy it anyway, because that's how Nintendo keeps winning out with their fans. How they'll sit there talking about what happened with what was it, Pokemon Sword and Shield? How everybody was like, hold on a second, you guys are still doing this mess where it's two versions. I mean, those cards, dude, those cards hold just as much information as close to just as much information as a Blu-ray disc. And you're gonna sit there talking about doing two versions, and on top of that, you haven't improved the animations. You still got them jokers and just wiggling in place, and that's where a lot of the outrage for. But
I used,
what do people
I used
still
to
turn
hate
around and
that.
do?
I used
Yeah,
to hate that they considered them as two separate games.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like when you had back when they had the game format, like the top games of the month, and it'd be like Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue. What? That's the same damn game.
Yeah, and see the thing, and see their fans. They will complain about that stuff.
Hmm.
What was it with what was it Skyward Sword, Zelda Skyward Sword
Oh,
HD remake? How they try to charge full price? How they charge full price for that? Everybody, man, everybody lost it. I ain't buying this. I ain't buying this. What turned around to happen? That mess wound up being the top seller for was a few months after it launched.
Mm.
It's the same thing, man. And Sony's the same way, where it's like, yeah, you can come out with all the outrage you want, but if you still turn around and buy it, well, you evidently did something good. So guess what? We're gonna do it again. And that's how I feel about this, man. Where it's like they come, come like like humping on Phil's leg, talking about, come on, daddy, share that Call of Duty with us, share that Starfield with us. It's like man, you better get on with that.
I'm glad you
It's like
said
you
that. I'm back. I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
Go
welcome
ahead. Go ahead. Go
welcome
ahead.
back.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Because I
sorry.
wanted
Go
to
ahead.
know,
Continue
y'all
going.
think that maybe some the PlayStation fans will rally behind Destiny again, even though they don't have the exclusivity as they once did. Would that
It,
settle them for their Call of Duty?
nope. That's bottom line to that, man. For me, bottom line is no, because it's not. Even though they're first person shooters, you gotta think about it. They're not the same. They're not the same thing.
'Cause they think
It
well, Battlefield isn't really the same as that.
Yeah, there's a certain. I mean, even though I'm not a first person shooter myself, all right, there's things in gameplay that jives with certain people. When compared to other things like Doom, like for example, like Doom is fast paced, all right. It's fast paced, no nonsense and everything, all
That shit
right.
hard.
And then you got Halo, all right. You can't get the same drive from Halo as you get from Doom, and vice versa, and stuff like that. And so it's like that would just be a band-aid over a gaping wound. It's not going to soothe them. So that's why I said that if a lot of them feel that badly about it, then they're just gonna have to accept the fact of either get an Xbox or just get it on their PC. Even if they don't want Game Pass, then just buy it off of Steam or buy it off the Windows Store and just you know keep it moving.
But you think Warzone will probably be on? You think they'll keep it on PlayStation?
I think all right. Here's the thing. I believe that with like online stuff like that, such as Warzone, for example, like say like
Yeah,
Elder
free to
Scrolls
play.
Online, and if Fallout 76, I guess, continues for another 2 years, those I believe will still remain multiplat.
I don't think the next Elder Scrolls is going to be online. That they're
Yeah,
about to show. I don't
I don't
think
think
yeah.
that's what
so
it's
Matter of
going
either.
to
fact,
be.
I don't think
matter
so
of fact,
either.
that's the same with. Yeah, matter of fact, that's even the same how I feel the same way with Minecraft. All right, if they all of a sudden one day turn around and say we're going to make a Minecraft 2, that's the key word,
That's what
2,
I said.
part 2. No, that Joker is not going everywhere. But because the current iteration has already been every single where before they were even bought, and that was part of the agreement with Notch and stuff, was don't yank it from those platforms. That was it. That's all the agreement was. But you didn't say anything about a part 2. And the only reason while everybody got Minecraft Dungeons was that was Phil trying to be nice. That was him trying to be nice and trying to unify gamers to cut this bullshit that is going on with with the console war. And it failed. It blew up in his face. So people can't say the man didn't try. He tried. And he tried more than once. So if there's a Dungeons 2, forget it. Just the same as there's a Minecraft 2, forget about it. And,
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know because Dungeons beat Animal Crossing. Minecraft Dungeons beat finally knocked down Animal Crossing.
I don't see. I really think as time goes on, they're gonna fade them games away from Sony. It's inevitable. Sorry. Call of Duty, Warzone, they make another iteration of Warzone. I'm sorry. This is for the here and now. As time goes on, all of game is going to be only for Microsoft, PC, and all that other crazy shit. Sony is not going to happen. I
Oh, that
believe
might
the
be
same
good. That
thing
might
what
be
you
good for
said.
Sony then.
I believe the same thing you said. Phil is going to honor their agreement. They're going to do whatever it is that they're going to do. Then they're going to keep moving. Because I tell people like, well, you got to think about it. They didn't buy Minecraft just because everybody playing. You know how much they can get from Minecraft. Think about it. The Minecraft candy, Minecraft toy, Minecraft Lunchable, Minecraft lunchbox, book bag. If they decide to make a massive movie or whatever, a TV show, that's what Minecraft's for. It's for the merchandise, and the merchandise is going to make money for them, even though they already got their money back
Shit,
from
they got over
Minecraft.
90 million players.
Yup, I'm telling
and
you, I can see that. I see them still taking it on Minecraft 1 and make a Minecraft 2. Well, if you want to play part 2, you know what you got to do. I see
But you
that's
that
think
right.
same.
I think that if they did take like with Call of Duty, if they took it back, it might be good for Sony because that means Sony to actually. I mean, the rumor is that SOCOM's coming back, but that they would actually try to go ahead and start pushing into the multiplayer because this whole single player thing narrative that they're using is just because I mean, let's face it, PlayStation Network
That
is
I
problematic.
said
So
I
you
said
got
it before.
they got it. So they got to go for the single player game, and then they don't got any games with longevity, so they just keep pushing them. They'll push them out, and they've been pushing them out
and
to try to keep them pacified.
and the media helped with that bullshit. And I keep saying it. I mean, y'all can argue with it, but I keep saying
Boy,
it.
man, you about to
And
make me
see,
go back to my old ways. You about to make me wild out.
and
I
see,
tell you,
It's about that
I
time.
go, man. Go ahead, finish saying what you were saying, boy. Cause I'm telling you,
here's what happened. All right, now around the time that that Uncharted 2 came out and it was winning up all those awards and stuff like that. All right,
mm-hmm,
the whole
mm-hmm.
single player driven heavy story, depressive, movie like experience narrative, that all originated on the indie side. All right, because remember all before, nobody was paying indie games no damn attention whatsoever. This is around the time that I was getting into indie development because I was trying to develop my own game as well. And matter of fact, the only real complaint a lot of people had with my game, and probably why a lot of people felt it didn't take off, was because I wasn't trying to make anything like that. I was trying to make a game and stuff. I was going off of something where it's like, something like, like if we came home from school and we turned on our Super Nintendo or whatever it is, and sit down and play. I made a game like that. I made a game. I wasn't trying to make something to drag your emotions through the mud and rinse it off in the rain and throw it off of a cliff. That wasn't what that wasn't what it was about. It was a puzzle game. It was an arcade puzzle game. But I still had people going on like, man, you should kind of have it where maybe this character here dies or and all this stuff. I'm like, for what? Why? But a lot of indie games were doing that. So you had, like, if you remember, it's the same thing even with G4. G4 is guilty of it too. Whereas you had like, games like That Dragon Cancer, if y'all remember the name of that. You had like the first iteration before it was even completed of Undertale. What's another one? I mean, there's like so many of them. I mean, dude, there was one that they wouldn't shut up about, where you started off as an old man at one end of the park sitting on a park bench, and you get up and you had to walk to the other end of the park, and as you kept walking, your life flashes before your eyes, and you get older and older, and you die. Yeah, so they had that going on, and so much of the media was eating that shit up. So here it is, you got PlayStation trying to match Xbox, which at the time was the high road at that time. They're trying to worry about doing Halo killers, trying to worry about doing Forza killers, trying to worry about doing Gears killers, and it just kept falling flat on its face. So then here it is, you get it's like you get these people who were former script writers. They're doing like Uncharted and everything. First one doesn't do too good because it didn't come around that time when that trend was picking up. Right. The second one came when that trend picked up. So now you got people, especially casuals, who are like, oh crap, I can get that same experience over here, but it's at a higher budget. Yeah, Sony, I want to see you do more of that. That's why God of War changed its formula to what it was, because the old original formula that it started from, that was first successful, wasn't bringing people in anymore. Yeah, they're all about these these heavy-handed, depressive, narrative, type of joints. Yeah, that's what we got to start doing now. So they go
play them games.
Remember,
I know the thing. I know I keep saying it and putting it that way, but it's not to knock them, because it's one of those deals where if it's what you enjoy, then it's what you enjoy. That's where I am. That's really the way I am. But I just don't like it when people try to shove it down my throat.
Sony, now that he said it, that makes a lot of sense. But what was the name of that goddamn game? The game was in Philly. It was supposed to be in Philly. It was a cop. It was a game where it's made by the same people that made Indigo Prophecy.
Heavy Rain.
There you go.
Oh
Heavy
Rain.
Yeah.
They did a lot of those games.
That's around the same time Whatchamacallit Part 2 came out. Part 2 of because Indigo on that company that makes Heavy Rain, they've been doing games like that for years. Because Indigo Prophecy
that's Quantic Dream,
going,
right?
I believe so. I believe that's the name of it.
That's them.
Now they multiplayer.
Right. Because they were talking, they were doing stuff like that. Well, yeah, now they multi-plat because they realized that PlayStation. What? Oh, okay. That PlayStation. That PlayStation handout shit wasn't working very well for them, as well as what was that, Metal Gear. Like all of a sudden, them games wasn't making them big bangers no more like they thought they was. I believe also the downfall of Metal Gear and Heavy Rain and stuff like that. I think they slept on Microsoft with these with this online with this online cooperative gameplay. I don't think that they thought that through. I think that they thought because Sony had the name, Sony got the game, and watch my shit sell. But not expecting that when it came down to Microsoft or whatever, look what happened. Look where people ran to online. And that's another thing I don't understand when people say this, not heard this. Well, well, Microsoft ain't doing nothing but buy another shooter. Okay. When did Microsoft ever said that they wasn't a shooter box?
They got more games, but I mean, they got more games than shooters. That's what I
I
kind
mean,
of don't
I'm
get.
just saying. You're right. You're right. But I'm just saying. When did Microsoft ever say that they wasn't? They know that they are considered as a shooter box. They don't care. Did that ever stop them? Nope. They made money off of being a shooter box.
I mean, everybody has their own talents. Like I think we said this before. You know, you don't want Shaq shooting 3-pointers. He's a center. Put him in the paint. Let him dunk on people. That's what you do. You don't want Steph Curry trying to dunk and get hung under the rim. You don't want that. He shoots threes. Let him shoot threes. You know. So I mean, people currently are falling in love with
Uh,
PS4 shooting the threes because they're like, oh look, what I mean? That's what popular for their fan base. But at the end of the day, they still hey, a win's a win. No matter how much you may not like, oh well, that's just unfair. Look how big Microsoft is, and but they're just buying up everything. Sony can cultivate. I'm like, well, if Sony had a wallet big enough, they would do the same thing too. You've seen them try. They do it on a micro scale, but they still
Yeah,
try to buy the things they
but
thing
can.
is how true is that cultivating is though, because most of the teams they have they bought.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think some of the people they mean cultivate, they just mean like they've done exclusives. That I mean, let's be honest, that's all it is. They had multiple exclusive deals. You know what I mean? Because like when Xbox bought Bethesda, people were like, "Oh my God, I bought so many games on PlayStation for Bethesda and blah blah blah." But yeah, but it started on Microsoft, so them, and they told you exactly why they went with Microsoft. Because when everything went terrible, where'd they go? They went to
Microsoft was the
Microsoft.
only.
Why ain't
Yup,
they
Microsoft
go to
was the.
Sony?
Yup,
They could have gone
Microsoft
to
was the
Sony, but
only
they
one
didn't.
that was
They went to
still there.
Microsoft.
I
Yep.
think it was more. I think it was more than just a personal type of preference thing. I think it was also a technical aspect behind it, because here's the thing: Creation Engine, and this also goes into the whole bug Thesda joking thing. All right, the majority. Now here's the thing: when I first got Oblivion, and even when I first got Skyrim, yeah, there was bugs there, but it was rare to come across them, and I wouldn't even know about a bug. When I first got Skyrim, I ain't knew nothing about about any of the bugs until I came across them on people talking about it online. I would go through the whole doggone game for like 2 months and stuff before I came across my first bug. But then when the PS3 version came, there was bugs everywhere. I mean, there was bugs so bad that people couldn't even progress through the story. All right.
Yeah,
And so here it is. It just the realization sets in where it's like, wait a minute. If you really think about it, Creation Engine is actually a Windows based engine, and they're being forced to try to port something that's made for Windows for DirectX to work for a BSD, in other words, a Unix variant OS
Right.
that's using open source libraries, because D3D, which is for 3D and stuff like that,
Right.
its equivalent, its open source equivalent would be OpenGL. All right, so so like I said, it's like they had to try to like cobble a lot of that stuff together. So here it is, they're being given the chance to not have to worry about the lights anymore, not have to worry about everybody's medical and vision anymore, not have to worry about running water, not worry about upkeep of the office anymore. That's being taken out of their hand, and the only thing they have to do is work with a library that has been tried and proven, that they have worked with for so many years before the investors that they had that were 86 and ran the hell out by field name was forced to have to make work in environments that that they were not familiar being in. So in other words, all I got to do is just make this work in on Xbox. Oh shoot, what's that? You know what it is they're using? The SD GDK. All right, all I gotta do is make this work on the GDK, and it outputs for Xbox, which also outputs for PC, which also can be ran over cloud, because cloud technically is Xbox. It's just the only thing you're doing is that you're just dialing into it. That's all. Like, man, dude, sign us up.
So what do you think the case is with oh man, I didn't even notice the time. But we're gonna get ready to get out of here. But what do
Yeah.
you think the case is with Activision? Because some of the rumors going around, well, even I seen fat ass fat ass Boogie. I don't like that fat fucker, but got to keep your enemy closer. Listen, if you don't heard me on this motherfucker, the time you hear me, I have no shame and no filter. Fuck him. But uh, what do you? He was saying that, oh well, now we might get better games and stuff. Now that it's by now that Microsoft is taking the helm of Activision and Blizzard, and I'm sitting here saying to myself, this motherfucker just said, excuse me, that he have no preference for console. When you can clearly go back and watch some of his videos where he say he prefers the PlayStation. So I'm trying to figure out what's the end game with Activision. What would make Microsoft, I should say, buy that company?
I thought about Blizzard. A lot of that thing I was thinking about Blizzard. But since we know about Activision's other acquisitions, like I said about MLG, and I think some other acquisitions, companies that are part of Activision Blizzard, and then the BattleNet, that there's a lot of infrastructure assets that they can use that Microsoft could build upon and enhance to to add on to their own.
The other aspect is mobile too. Is they have King as well, and that's good. That's good to help Microsoft, branch more into the mobile aspect as well. Because I mean, Bethesda had their own mobile branch too,
Right.
which was Roundhouse, not Roundhouse, Alpha Dog, and
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
they had theirs as well. But when you think about between the two, which one is the more bigger? King is the more bigger one.
Definitely.
So they have like all these different routes to break into mobile. So we might probably get like a some sort of a tap swipe puzzle Halo like game or something like that, and it probably might make money. But it's just that I guess you say the biggest thing to look at as to why it made so much sense for those two to unite is, I want to say, it's probably more on leaning towards maybe Blizzard. This is because we're talking about games. We're talking about a developer, a studio that has a storied history of developing on
Correct.
the PC platform, which was Windows. All right. And yeah, I mean, I think they did make a Mac port of like WoW and everything like that. But
Yeah, WoW was on that.
yeah, as well as like StarCraft and everything. But the thing is, the majority of people that played those games were all Windows PC users. So and it's like, and the thing is, it's like a long time ago, and I distinctly remember it. One of these days I should try to dig this stuff up, but there was one at one time like talk of WoW coming to the Xbox, and that never happened, of course. And so it's one of those things where it's like you kind of it's the same thing like with what happened with Bethesda. All right, you kind of saw it coming because it's like you're talking about us having to not worry about working with a completely alien OS and program that's probably prone to bugs that we have to sit here and spend so much time and overhead trying to fix, opposed to something that we're highly familiar with, and we don't have to spend as much time and overhead trying to chase bugs and fix. In other words, you just made our work easier because you streamlined it, because all we got to do is just pump this through the GDK and it branches out to these things. We check those are good. We're done. We're moving on to the next thing. And we ain't
Wow.
got and we don't have to like have it done in under a year. You're giving us probably another year or 2 years because we don't have executives over our heads beating us down talking about better be ready by the end of the month. Well, we get this shit.
Relaxation.
Yeah. And what's this? We can actually work on other things.
We don't have to pump out the same game every year.
Like,
Yo,
okay,
Does
okay, let me get this
Activision
straight,
have
boss man.
its own marketing thing like Bethesda did?
What's that?
Did Activision have its own marketing firm like Bethesda did? Because you know that
Oh yeah,
Bethesda has the
they,
other Aaron,
oh yeah,
so
yes
they
they
got the
did.
two Aarons.
They had their own marketing division. They had their own online services. I think they had their own streaming services too.
yeah, they
It's the other
do.
part of the battle net.
Yeah,
So yeah, they were they were already good to go. They were already locked in.
Wow.
that's job security. Yeah, boy, they're gonna be happy.
So you guys
Yeah,
them being basically semi-autonomous, that they're able to
Mhm.
take care of themselves.
yeah.
It's
The
just
only thing,
the Q and the Q and A, what have you, God damn it,
yeah, Q&A.
the oversight, and the oversight would be from Microsoft.
Yeah.
So I
So I
mean,
mean,
it's looking
yeah,
good.
yeah. So like I said, I mean, it's like you know, from my own experience of being a developer and stuff. If you're offering me something like that, whereas you're gonna pay my bills, you're gonna pay my salary, probably even increase my salary. I don't have to worry about my people's medical and dental and vision anymore. That's out of my hands now. You're handling that.
That's what
And
in Exile was talking about when they got acquired.
oh
That they
yeah,
didn't
same
have to do
same
that.
same with Tim Schafer, man. Same with
Oh, that
Tim
was
Schafer with
hilarious.
Double Joy. Yeah, man, that dude is a clown, man. he's he's sitting there in the doggone in the doggone was it the polo shirt, the Microsoft polo shirt, and the dude from Microsoft talking about we don't wear those no more. You know that, right?
the only eyeball.
Well,
He's like,
people,
yeah,
It's going at 2:30. I mean, the 2.5 hours mark. I appreciate everybody coming out, man. Y'all make sure y'all check out. What the name did we change the podcast of Vodka?
Oh, this flip money in the Masters of the Metaverse.
Not that one, man. I'm
Oh,
talking, I'm talking about Bo.
oh,
Bo.
Xbox
Yeah.
Day One.
Like my day, what I forgot just that quick. You make sure you check out the Heroic Vibration podcast around this time. You know,
Wait a
yeah.
minute, but Livewire
Huh?
left before I asked him. Did he single-handedly make Marlon an Xbox?
He probably went to
It's a
Livewire.
rap.
Probably was dozing off. Yeah. I don't know.
Did he make
I don't
It's a
know.
Rap? It's a Rap. I think that's Livewire single-handedly made It's a Rap
I,
an Xbox.
I think that's Livewire cousin
I,
acting like he hated on hate Xbox and
I,
stuff, but he loves it.
I'm like this with Marlon, man. I'm like this, man. I still leave the dude alone. He saw the light. He saw the light. That's all I can say. But his other homies,
Yeah.
But he
his other
tried.
You
homies.
know what? He seen the light when he seen the direction of the Xbox was coming when that when it first
That
hit that
RDA
door.
3.
Yeah, when
That's the
that
same.
RDNA 3 came out and he seen what was under that PlayStation 5, yeah, he saw the sun. It opened up his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, a whole lot of people going to be waking up seeing the light. I mean,
Yep.
dude, for example, Platinum Games. After all these years, now you coming out and telling everybody what really happened. Now you coming out and publicly
Well,
apologizing.
they've been trying. They've been
They need that
trying.
money. Hey,
Oh, well,
y'all.
But they want Scalebound back. They want
Yeah, I
Scalebound
know,
back. They
man.
want to try
Well,
to do it again.
they ain't gonna do shit.
it's not just
Microsoft be
Scalebound.
good.
It, it's not just
They,
Scalebound, dude. They need work.
they need work.
They're
Yeah.
stuck. They're stuck on Bethesda on a Bayonetta. They can't
Yup.
move forward until Bayonetta's done. So they
Yup.
need money. So they're trying to hunt for work.
Yeah, I was surprised
Well.
that they didn't do Near Replicant. They had somebody
Yeah.
toy box to do it.
All right, well, check this out. Y'all make sure y'all check out my man,
And
good
thanks,
brother.
Fireboss, for coming out.
Yeah,
Hey,
y'all.
thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. No, hey man, anytime, man. This ain't the last time me and Vodka and Livewire gonna do this, whatever, man. This ain't gonna be the last time. I mean, I really enjoy it, man. We just want to say, man, a lot of these ponies out there that somehow became Xbox ambassadors is fucking amazing. It is amazing how y'all became Xbox ambassador. I was gonna do a little rant, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna let it slide. We had some good brothers on here. You know, this podcast a little more is more stable than with Bone or me
More
doing this by
subdued.
myself. Just by myself, I didn't cut some motherfuckers out there ear to ear. But
Well, I have to apologize to the
I'm
audience
giving
for that, dude. I'm sorry
I'm
for
gonna give a
holding
shout out.
back.
I know they probably, you know what, they probably
I'm
came
gonna
to
get some.
do.
Uh,
I'm gonna get some hate. I'm gonna get some hate mail.
Yo,
oh
they
shoot!
probably thought I
Hey
was gonna
fellas,
do
I
that.
got a bail. I got a
All
bail.
right, now.
Catch y'all later.
Peace.
All right,
All
man.
right, thank
Peace.
you.
Thanks again.
All right, and everybody out there, man, thanks for rocking out with us, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I appreciate that, yo. But you make sure you check out everybody podcast. I'm quite sure you already know when everybody podcast is, whatever. Shout out to Hebot, uh, uh, who else? Who else? E-Rock, uh, Sega
Uh,
Man, Tuck
Unlimited
Master,
production.
Unlimited Production. Who else we got? Who else?
What you gonna do, Lemon?
Lemon, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody, man. Go check all
Techno
them brothers.
Blast, New Legal.
Yeah, fuck it. Vodka, you tell them. Shit. You
TK9, sorry, OMG. That motherfucker's video is hilarious about him trying to help Sony. And he got the pony head in the back. You gotta check this shit out. He
Hey
got a
yo.
PlayStation 4
Hey,
with
hey,
a
hey,
box. He
hey,
got a
hey.
PlayStation 4 box with a 5 written on it.
Hey,
That shit.
everybody in the comment section. Yo, man, y'all can rock out with us in the
Thank
Xbox
you, Mr.
party, man.
Kiva, 6 layer, one
Everybody,
Mr.
man.
100.
Yeah, everybody, man. I appreciate that, yo. For real, holla at us in the party, man. Don't be no damn stranger or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And we out of here.
Peace.